अगर कोई आना चाहता है तो प्लीज दे कम, और अगर नहीं आना चाहता है तो यू कैन रिजेक्ट माय इनविटेशन। आई एम इनवाइटिंग एवरीबॉडी। शेफाली जी ने बोल दिया कि दैट शी इज नॉट ओके।
And
आई एम
Shefali ji
इनवाइटिंग
get well soon. I think
या
she's
गेट वेल सून
suffering from
प्लीज।
COVID. Yeah.
I've invited everybody. If you don't want to, then you can listen to us. It will be a good discussion. आई थिंक मॉडरेटर्स ज्यादा हो चुके हैं, मैं गिव अप कर देता हूँ सर मॉडरेटर। ओके।
नहीं नहीं नहीं, बोर नहीं, एक मिनट। आंदोलन सर, एक्चुअली आई विल नॉट बी एबल टू मॉडरेट, आई एम हियर टू लिसन, तो मैं नीचे जा रहा हूँ। आप लोग प्लीज मुझे पुल अप कर लेना वापस। ओके, बोर्न आप यहाँ पे
या
रहिए, हेल्प करिए सर की। ओके,
Okay. तो कई दिनों से मैं ये देख रहा था in terms of while we have a host of social issues in our society, but मैं ये देख रहा था specifically when it comes to discussing and highlighting social evil and social issues, there is one set of social issues which are always kept in a corner और उसको ढक दिया जाता है रिलीजन के चादर से कि भाई ये तो रिलीजियस प्रैक्टिस है, इस पे बात ना करें। तो मैंने कहा इस पे एक रूम लगाने की ज़रूरत है, एक सब डिबेट की ज़रूरत है, क्योंकि हिंदुस्तान में अब ये 2 और 3 तरीके के हिंदुस्तान डेवलप हो रहे हैं। एक तो वो हिंदुस्तान है जहाँ पे आज ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम a lot of social evil have been eradicated, or policies have been made to eradicate those social evils, and they are diminishing. चाहे वो दहेज हो, चाहे इक्वल सक्सेशन राइट ऑफ गर्ल चाइल्ड हो, चाहे वो क्या कहते हैं मोनोगैमी हो, एक मेजॉरिटी वर्ग से तो ये सोशल इवल्स को निकाल दिया गया है। लेकिन कुछ एक सेक्शन ऑफ सोसाइटी में ये सोशल इवल्स अभी भी मौजूद है। हम लोग अभी बीच में काफी बात कर रहे थे, आज आप देखिए हमारे ही हिंदुस्तान के एक समाज में एक महिला को अपनी सोशल सिक्योरिटी विवाह के समय अपनी कीमत लगा के तय करनी पड़ती है मेहर के फॉर्म में। इससे ज्यादा शर्मनाक स्थिति क्या हो सकती है कि उस बच्ची को ना उसके पेरेंटल इक्वल राइट्स मिलते हैं प्रॉपर्टी में सक्सेशन के, और ना ही शाहबानो के केस के बाद उसके पास उसके अगर गलती से डाइवोर्स हो जाता है या फैमिली सेपरेशन हो जाता है तो उसके फाइनेंशियल इंडिपेंडेंस जो है वो बिल्कुल कोई लीगल कवरेज नहीं है, एक्सेप्ट फॉर द अमाउंट ऑफ मनी शी पुट्स फॉरवर्ड एज अ कंडीशन ड्यूरिंग द टाइम ऑफ हर मैरिज। और उस समय जिस समय लड़की की शादी होती है उस समय उसकी उम्र 16 साल, 17 साल, 18 साल, 20 साल होती है। वो अपने आप एक अमाउंट बताती है जो उसको एज अ सोशल सिक्योरिटी मिलेगा, और ये ऐसी अमाउंट बताने की जरूरत भी इसलिए पड़ती है क्योंकि उस सोसाइटी में एक ही पुरुष कई महिला से शादी कर सकता है और बड़ी आसानी से ही विवाह का एक जो संबंध है उसको कॉन्ट्रैक्ट की तरह ट्रीट करा जाता है। यू पे द मेहर, फॉलो द प्रोसेस ऑफ तलाक, एंड द मैरिज इज ओवर। तो ये जो पॉलीगैमी है ये औरतों को मजबूर करती है मेहर के रूप में अपनी कीमत लगाने के लिए। and I you know I don't know how people view it, but I see it as a very derogatory practice. दहेज प्रथा हिंदू समाज से ऑलमोस्ट खत्म हो गई है विद द चेंज ऑफ पॉलिसी, पर यहाँ पे एक समाज के वर्ग को और खास खास उन महिलाओं को जो इन सोशल इवल्स को फेस कर रही हैं, चाहे वो हलाला की प्रैक्टिस हो, चाहे वो मेहर की प्रैक्टिस हो, चाहे वो पॉलीगैमी की प्रैक्टिस हो, इसके बारे में बात करना भी इस्लामोफोबिया समझा जाता है। इन सोशल ईवल्स को उठाने पे लोग आपको मतलब दीज लिबरल कहने की जगह आपको पता नहीं क्या क्या नाम देते हैं। मतलब क्या इस तरीके की बातें ना करके हम इन सोशल ईवल्स को इनेबल नहीं कर रहे हैं? यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड की बात करी जाती है तो लोग कहते हैं कि नहीं, हम लोगों को, अलग धर्म के लोगों को उनके तरह से जिंदगी जीने की आजादी, ये जिंदगी जीने देने की आजादी नहीं है, सोशल ईवल्स आर सोशल ईवल्स। एंड इसके लिए आज मैंने ये रूम रखा है, एक डिटेल डिस्कशन होगा और मैं सबसे अपील ये करूंगा इसको सभ्य रखें, अपने अपने विचार इस पर व्यक्त करें। तो प्लीज माइक फ्लैश कर दीजिए जो बोलना चाहता हो इस पे, देन वी कैन स्टार्ट द डिबेट एंड डिस्कशन।
फरदीन भाई, प्लीज फरदीन भाई को।
Assalamu alaikum everyone. So the
वालेकुम
topic
अस्सलाम।
is polygamy, the source of all social evil. Well, I won't agree with it totally because I mean polygamy is just like uh, a man having multiple wives. In Islam, it is for if you see, then in 1912, in 1920, when India was not independent, Hindus even had laws and 12 to 10 wives because it was totally lawful. It was after Ambedkar came and made this marriage of monogamy lawful for Hindus. So polygamy can't be said as the root of all social evil. They can have other roots, but polygamy in the modern society, of course, is not good for a female because she might think that why is my husband sleeping with another lady while I am still his wife? But to call it the source of all social evil, I don't agree with that.
तो मैंने उसका रीजन आपको बताया फरदी जी। बिकॉज ऑफ पॉलीगैमी देर इज अ इशू विद वुमेन्स फाइनेंशियल सिक्योरिटी, और उसके लिए फिर मेहर का कॉन्सेप्ट आता है, विच अगेन इज अ सोशल इवल। वुमेन हैव टू पुट अप अ प्राइस फॉर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ मैरिज। It is, I mean, if you see it in bare form, it's a very derogatory practice। और जो आपने कहा बिल्कुल सही कहा कि पहले ये पॉलीगैमी थी और सोसाइटीज में भी थी अदर देन मुस्लिम सोसाइटी। इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में अमेंडमेंट करके उसको खत्म करा गया और इसी तरह ये बाकी पूरी सोसाइटी से खत्म होना चाहिए।
Andolan ji, one thing is that it was not just Indian constitution which ended polygamy in particularly when we talk about Hinduism, right? In 19th century, when reforms came, when religious reforms took place, I'm forgetting the leaders. I think it was Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar or something. I'm not sure. Please forgive me if I'm quoting it wrong. But these people, they worked a lot. They tried to eliminate polygamy in 19th century through social religious reforms. So saying this, that only constitution abolished polygamy in Hinduism particularly, think that is injusticiable to the people to the people like Raja Ram Mohan Roy ji, who fought for the elimination of social evils and who fought for the rights for women. So yeah, it's not the constitution which did that.
हाँ, मतलब इट्स द सेट ऑफ पीपल आल्सो हु ब्रॉट इन दोज रिफॉर्म्स। अगर आप क्या कहते हैं, हिंदू सक्सेशन एक्ट भी देख लीजिए, तो जिस समय हमें आज़ादी मिली थी उस समय गर्ल चाइल्ड को बॉय चाइल्ड के कंपैरिजन में हाफ सक्सेशन राइट मिलते थे। लेकिन आज की डेट में न केवल फादर की प्रॉपर्टी में हाफ राइट्स, इक्वल राइट्स एज अ मेल बॉर्न किड मिलते हैं, HUF की प्रॉपर्टी में भी इक्वल राइट्स मिलते हैं। एंड नाउ विद द 2012 जजमेंट, अ गर्ल कैन आल्सो बी द कर्ता ऑफ द HUF, which
Even when we quote the statement, I think कल ही या परसों सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने स्टेटमेंट दिया है प्रॉपर्टी इनहेरिटेंस पे, Supreme, one second, Supreme Court has stated that daughters to inherit self-acquired properties of father dying without a will. If there is no will made by any individual, so the daughter, she will be, and automatically she will be the owner of that property.
हाँ, इक्वल ओनर। ये डिसीजन तो 2005 में ही आ गया था। और फैमिली प्रॉपर्टी में भी बराबर की इनहेरिटेंस रहेगी। और क्या कहते हैं, अब ये जो 2012 में या 2009 में जजमेंट आया था, एचयूएफ की कर्ता यानी द लीडर ऑफ द हिंदू अनडिवाइडेड फैमिली प्रॉपर्टी एंड मेकिंग डिसीजंस ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ दैट कैन आल्सो बी अ गर्ल। पहले ये ऐसा नहीं होता था। तो ये सारे रिफॉर्म सोसाइटी ने अपने आप करे। और यहीं पे अगर हम देखते हैं, एक दूसरी सोसाइटी जो मुस्लिम सोसाइटी है हमारे ही कंट्री में, हमारे ही साथ रह रही है, उसमें आजादी से लेकर अभी तक वुमेन से रिलेटेड कोई भी रिफॉर्म्स अगर कोशिश भी करी गई है लाने की, तो उस पे बहुत रेजिस्टेंस आया है। मतलब जब ये सक्सेशन राइट्स हिंदू बच्चियों को बराबर के दिए गए, कोई भी सड़क पे नहीं उतरा था अपोज करने के लिए। सो दैट इज ऑल्सो देयर। और जबकि यही हम देखते हैं कि इंस्टेंट ट्रिपल तलाक के विरुद्ध अगर सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जजमेंट आया या शाहबानो वाला जजमेंट आया, तो पूरा समाज सड़क पे आ गया था इसको अपोज करने के लिए इन द नेम ऑफ रिलीजन। So, are we living in a hypocritical society who prefers to eliminate social evils only for one set of women and completely avoids, shaping up better lives for women who belong to another religion by covering them under the garb of religious practice? सुनील जी, डेजर्ट जी, नीरज जी, अमित जी, नीचे से भी कोई ऊपर आना चाहे इस विषय पे बोलने के लिए।
जय श्री राम, जय श्री राम। नहीं, आप जो कह रहे हैं आपने बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बहुत ही ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट मुद्दा है ये। तो दिस इज समथिंग व्हिच इज अगेंस्ट ह्यूमैनिटी। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, this is inhumane practice, but it has been practiced in 14th century, and it has been flourishing since then, and that is the reason for the downfall of many empires. आज की डेट में आप कहीं पर भी देखिए, लिबिया देखिए, सीरिया देखिए, इराक देखिए, अजरबैजान देखिए, आप यूएसएसआर का डिजनरेशन देखिए, आप कहीं का भी देखिए। तो आपने जो उठाया हुआ ये चैप्टर बहुत संगीन है और बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है। अगर अभी फरदीन जी हैं यहाँ पर, तो मैं उनसे पूछना चाहता था कि
मैं
अगर
बुला
आप
लेता हूँ उनको, आई विल
तो
बैक चैनल।
अब उसमें ये है कि जैसे इनका जो सूरतुल बहार है वर्स 223, उसमें तो it is easily said that the women is only for the cultivation of seeds, it's like a farmhouse. तो ये जो चीज़ें हैं, और या सैयद उल बुखारी का जो है 23/46, उसमें नेक्रोफिलिया तक अलाउड है।
नहीं सुनील
या
जी,
चैप्टर
यहाँ पे
5
जो पॉइंट
देखिए।
है वो ये है
हाँ
कि हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं इंडियन सोसाइटी के परिप्रेक्ष्य में।
हाँ, इंडियन सोसाइटी में वही
राइट।
मैं वही बात कर रहा हूँ। तो उसमें क्या हो जाता है कि अगर हम इंडियन सोसाइटी में अब ये बात करते हैं, तो अगर हम इस चीज को छेड़ते हैं, तो वो बोलते हैं कि आइदर यू आर इस्लामोफोब और वी आर फर्दर एलिनेटिंग देम। हम इनको अलग कर रहे हैं अपने से। ऐसा नहीं है। अगर हम बोलते हैं कि ये रिलीजन है, अगर हम इसके ऊपर बात करते हैं, तो हम इनको एलिनेट नहीं कर रहे हैं। और लेकिन ये बताया जाता है हमेशा कि हम आप इनको एलिनेट कर रहे हो, या तो आप इस्लामोफोबिक हो। बट दैट इज नॉट द केस। द केस व्हिच यू आर पुटिंग अप कि बट दिस इज नॉट राइट। दैट्स व्हाट वी आर सेइंग। मैं इतना ही बोलना
अच्छा,
चाहूंगा।
इसमें इसमें जैसे मैंने कई तरीके की बात, इसमें भी दो तरीके की देखी। एक तरफ तो हमारा जो द सो कॉल्ड लिबरल एंड फेमिनिस्टिक वर्ग है, वो ये रेस करता रहा, क्या कहते हैं कि भाई हिंदुइज्म में डाइवोर्स का प्रोविजन नहीं है और औरतें घुट घुट के जीती हैं, जीवन यापन करती हैं। और उसको भी फिर डाइवोर्स भी क्या कहते हैं, एज अ लीगल प्रैक्टिस अडॉप्ट करी लॉ ने भी और सोसाइटी ने भी। But at the same times, when it comes to women life in Muslim society, when it comes to burqa, when it comes to equal succession rights वगैरह, वहां पे ये कहा जाता नहीं ये इनकी सोशल प्रैक्टिस है, क्या वहां पे महिलाओं को उबारना लिबरल नहीं माना जाता है, या वहां की महिलाओं के बारे में बात करना सही नहीं माना जाता? ये मैं समझ नहीं पा रहा हूँ। आप देखिए इस तरीके के टॉपिक्स में डिस्कशन भी करते हैं तो कई कई लिबरल माइंडसेट के लोग हैं, उनको मैं बुलाने की भी कोशिश करता हूँ, वो ऊपर आके डिस्कशन नहीं करना चाहते इन विषयों पे, दे
मैं वही
अवॉइड
तो
सच
बात
डिस्कशंस। हाँ
मैं वही तो बता रहा हूँ ना कि अगर हम इन पे
Andoji, they are
डिस्कशन,
Islamophobic.
अगर आप डिस्कशन ऐसा करेंगे तो आप इस्लामोफोब है, या तो आप मुसलमानों को अलग कर रहे हैं, एलिनेट कर रहे हैं। तो ये जो हमारा जो ये इफेक्ट है इस चीज का जो है, जैसे क्योंकि डेमोक्रेसी है, तो अगर आप उगिर चाइना की तरह तो नहीं कर सकते कि आप मस्जिद को उनकी वहां पर उन्होंने टॉयलेट बना दिया। तो वी आर नॉट सेइंग लाइक दैट, लेकिन द प्रॉब्लम इज कि अगर हम ये बात करते हैं, एक तो हम बहुत बड़ा वर्ग जो है उसको अलग कर देते हैं पॉलिटिक्स से, एक तो वो प्रॉब्लम है। और दूसरा दूसरा ये
Sunil
प्रॉब्लम
bhai,
है।
Fardeen ji is here. You wanted to
हाँ नहीं, मैं
add
मैं
something.
वही मैं वही कहना चाहता था कि अगर इफ देखिए हमारे में तो जो एज एज अ धार्मिक हिंदू धर्म, उसमें ये बोला जाता है कि दैट हम तो वी बिलीव इन रिबर्थ, एंड वी बिलीव दैट देयर इज अ सोल, एंड द बॉडी इज जस्ट अ गारमेंट ऑन टॉप ऑफ द सोल। तो ऐसा हमारा सोचना है। लेकिन प्रॉब्लम ये हो जाती है कि व्हेन वी डोंट कंसिडर ह्यूमंस एज ह्यूमंस, वो मैं कहना चाहता था। एंड दिस इज व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से, कि अगर हम ये बोलते हैं, जैसे आंदोलन जी ने ये टॉपिक उठाया, तो ही विल बी कंसिडर्ड एन इस्लामोफोब। ओके, और अगर हम इसको मेजॉरिटी लेवल पे उठाएंगे कि भाई ऐसा करेंगे, तो वी आर एलिनेटिंग ए बिग चंक ऑफ द सोसाइटी। तो इनको एलिनेट कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि ये एक बहुत बड़ी समस्या है।
हाँ,
तो
पर
मैं
ये
मैं
ये
यही
ये चीज सुनील जी मैंने कई बार देखी भी है। अगर मतलब आई लेट्स से हिंदू मेल, इफ आई एम genuinely concerned about the you know diminishing rights of women in the same society which I live in, I see the women in Hindu society at least are legally empowered today. And when I see the same set of women who are part of the society but belong to a different faith, have also to bear up with polygamy, bear up with unequal inheritance right, would have to go through the trauma of mehar and this process. It's literally like selling yourself in marriage. I genuinely, irrespective of which faith that I follow, as a citizen of this country, it concerns me
की
as
बात
it used
बिल्कुल
to
समझ रहा हूँ
concern
सर।
me the as it used to concern me the
Anandji,
dowry
sorry,
issues.
Andoji, can you pin a link? I have sent you on the back
जी
channel.
मैं लिंक कर देती हूँ। आप कुछ बोलना चाह रही
एक
थी
Please
एक
वेशी?
look.
और
वेशी से ले ले, पहले इनिशियल
अरे
कमेंट्स ले लेते हैं। हाँ
सिंपल पॉइंट है कि ये लोग जितने भी लेफ्ट के ब्रिगेड लोग हैं, ये लोग आपको एक, इसलिए मैंने वो सर्वे आपको भेजा, प्लीज वो पिन कर दीजिए। ये आपको सर्वे भी बोलेंगे तो सिर्फ आधा बताएंगे, बिकॉज ये लोग बोलेंगे कि अच्छा पॉलीगैमी तो हिंदूज में ज्यादा होती है, हिंदूज में 5.8% होती है, मुस्लिम्स में 5.7% होती है। ये बताएंगे, जरूर बताएंगे, बट ये नहीं बताएंगे कि उसकी अभी परसेंटेज कितनी है। So this report was done by the National Family Health Survey, which was carried out in 2006. And मैं आपको statistics बता देती हूँ। हिंदू सोसाइटी की जो पॉलीगैमी थी उससे पहले, that was at 5.8% and अभी आके 1.77% पे घट चुकी है। अब मैं मुस्लिम सोसाइटी की बता देती हूँ। It is 5.7% it was there, जो कि हिंदू से कम था, बट अभी कितनी है? 2.55%. So it's clear that Hindu society has evolved, has progressed when it comes to women's rights. So these people really need to shut up and stop this nonsense of defending polygamy in every way, shape, or form. And funnily, which community has the highest number of polygamy in India? Not even the Muslims. It is the Buddhists, that is 3.2%. So these people really need to shut up and actually look at other societies and just compare it with Hindu society day and night. And when they talk about, but how will they? Will they reject the holy verses from the holy book? well, if they do, their head will be on the chopping block rather than mine.
अच्छा, which is small question here on the survey itself. एक सेकंड बोल भाई, विच जो आप ये सर्वे दे रही, इसमें एक चीज जैसे आपने कहा बुद्धिस्ट में या हिंदूज में, एटलीस्ट आज हिंदूज और बुद्धिस्ट में लॉ तो है दैट इफ अ हस्बैंड इज अंडरगोइंग पॉलीगैमी हिज वाइफ कैन फाइल अ कंप्लेन एंड ही विल गो टू जेल. But in Islam, this is not even a law against it. So even if a wife wants to complain, how will she? And are Buddhists allowed polygamy in Indian constitution? To the best of my knowledge,
I don't know. Well, I don't know that. I know about Hindus.
No, Buddhists are not allowed.
Buddhists are not allowed. They are
Officially.
covered under the same
Officially
law. Yeah, officially not allowed. So if
मैं वो सर्वे की ग्राफ भी अपने इसमें चिपका देती हूँ.
पर मैं वो सर्वे का ग्राफ मैम थोड़ा सा वो बेमानी इसलिए है. देखिए, दो चीज है. एक है क्राइम होना. मर्डर हर देश में होते हैं. इसका मतलब ये तो नहीं कि हम मर्डर के खिलाफ कानून नहीं बनाएंगे, क्योंकि भाई होते ही होते हैं. अगर सोशल ईवल है और हिंदुइज्म में सोशल ईवल या बुद्धिस्ट को सोशल ईवल के कारण एक लॉ का ऑप्शन है. अगर इक्वल इनहेरिटेंस राइट, मान लीजिए आज आप हिंदू गर्ल हो, आपको इक्वल इनहेरिटेंस राइट है अपने फादर और अपने एंसेस्ट्रल प्रॉपर्टी में. यू मे चूज नॉट टू टेक इट, यू मे चूज टू गिव इट टू योर ब्रदर, विच इज परफेक्टली ऑल राइट, बट यू हैव एन ऑप्शन और द पावर टू क्लेम दैट फॉर योर फाइनेंशियल इंडिपेंडेंस. आज उस वर्ग के पास ये ऑप्शन ही नहीं है, ये पावर ही नहीं है.
आंदोलन जी, अगर हम एक फैक्ट ये भी
आंदो
रखते
जी,
हैं,
लास्ट वन थिंग, एक चीज मैं बोलूंगी. दैट्स इट. मेरे को सिर्फ 1 मिनट चाहिए होगा, इफ दैट्स ऑलराइट.
प्लीज गो, प्लीज गो.
नो, देखिए, सिंपल पॉइंट ये है. पहली तो ये बात है, जहाँ तक इनहेरिटेंस की बात है, इवन दैट इज नॉट अलाउड इन शरिया to give a woman equal rights to men. So these people will not even defend women's rights when it comes to demanding equal rights, because again, will they deny the holy verses? And if they deny, their head will be on the chopping block instead of ours. So these people are the real Islamophobes, as I've always said, because these people fear the holy book. And जहाँ तक laws की बात है, of course laws आनी चाहिए. एक बार यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड आ जाए तो इनके मुंह पे चमाटा लगेगा सबसे बड़ा. And AIMPLB, the most bigoted, homophobic, misogynist organization that runs in India and which has power to run in India. The constitution gives them right to run. That's really problematic. Do you remember what they had given statement when the Hagia Sophia church was demolished and a masjid was created on top of it? So these people really, they need to be nipped in the bud, to be very honest.
Well, the objective ma'am is not to slap anybody or this thing, but the objective is purely from a women rights perspective. एक जो हमारी 20% आबादी है, यानी हिंदुस्तान की 10% आबादी उन महिलाओं की है जो आजादी से लेकर अभी तक पॉलीगैमी के का वो मतलब होता है ना, स्वॉर्ड इज हैंगिंग ऑन देयर हेड. दे हैव टू अंडरगो selling as part of the marriage process in form of meher. They can be divorced easily and conveniently just by paying the contracted amount during the time of contract of marriage. And that's about it. This has caused, the entire woman empower. I won't even call it empowerment. The women have been, tied up all across in such chains that they can't be empowered. पिताजी से प्रॉपर्टी का राइट मिलेगा नहीं. पति जब चाहे तलाक दे सकता है, एक छोटी मोटी रकम जो मेहर के नाम पे उसको दे के, उससे आप कोई मेंटेनेंस क्लेम नहीं कर सकते हैं. पति जब चाहे दूसरी शादी कर सकता है आपको किनारे बैठा के, आपकी उस पर कोई मर्जी नहीं है. आप डाइवोर्स मांग नहीं सकती है. तो ये जो पॉलीगैमी के कारण जो एक डर बना हुआ है औरत के मन में कि वो शी इवन इफ शी ट्राइज टू बी इनेबल्ड एंड क्लेम इक्वल राइट्स, हिज हस्बैंड विल गो अहेड एंड मैरी अनदर वन विदाउट एनी लीगल रिपरकशंस. दर्शन जी, फरदीन जी.
Ando ji, even when it comes to the word of nikah, people don't even know what nikah means. Nikah is not marriage, what Hindus think. Nikah means contract to sexual intercourse in Arabic. That's what nikah means. It means coitus. And when it comes to aurat, well, I think that's the most misogynistic word, because feminists say, stop, objectifying me. Then I think the feminists should stop using the word aurat, because aurat means a woman's private parts.
uh, when we talk about let's say elimination of polygamy, as if we go through wish what data wish gave to us, it was like, you know, we reduced from 5% approx to 1%. But let's not go by one way, just see the number, right? The number of people, I think there are more than 800 million Hindus living in this country. Actually it is more than 900 million. So the level of reforms which we brought in, I think that's appreciable by everybody. And if we see the other side of the coin, I don't think that the reforms which were done, uh, they were vulnerable to us, but they were, they got access to just Hindus, not to just Hindu girls, but not to the Muslim girls.
Right. आते हैं हमारे साथ, there are a couple of young guys. Darshan has joined us in the debate. Fardeen has been there. सुनील जी initially बोल चुके, अमित जी ने कुछ नहीं बोला अभी तक. Darshan, over to you. Anything on the topic?
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for letting me speak here. I was just waiting for my turn only. So, as since I have joined in the middle, so I have not listened few of the people. I have only listened half of the panel or something. So, as much I can see the topic, it's the polygamy, source of all social evils. Is that so or not? I'll not say it with the aspect of religion, since I believe that the cultural traits of any religion do transfer from one culture to another. We have adopted a lot of traits from different cultures, and same with the other cultures too. Since I want to ask from the person who has mentioned this topic, that in polygamy, what exactly we are talking about? Is it polygyny or polyandry? Because in a lot of tribes, polyandry was also in practice. If you are talking about polygamy, since few of the people in the panel were speaking about, like, in Islam what was happening, in Hinduism it was happening, in Buddhism it was happening, or something like that. Since I don't want to go in that debate, if you are talking about polygyny in this the aspect of polygamy, are we talking about levirate or we are talking about sororate? So if the person who has chosen this topic, can we please elaborate a little bit more the question, that is it polygyny we are talking about, or it's polyandry we are talking about? Because polygamy consists both.
Yeah, polygamy consists both polygyny as well as polyandry. The topic is contemporary, not historical, right? Today we are talking more from a legal perspective. What it is coming out, that since independence, while a major society of India, so if you see the major society of India, it consists of various religious groups. The biggest religious groups being Hindus, then followed by Muslims, and so on and so forth. There are multiple religious groups and segments. The larger part of the society has undergone a process of social reforms. So, Hindus were also undertaking polygamy, both gynae as well as andry earlier. Okay. However, that practice is stopped legally, right? People might still be committing that, but those are considered as crime. So we need to understand that difference. Whereas, when it comes to Islam, that process is still provided legal sanction. So, you can legally go and marry more than one girl. Polyandry is not allowed under Islam, to the best of my knowledge. If it is, that too is a social evil, right? So that's one. Second is, because of polygamy, because of succession rights of female within the and again I'm talking contemporary, not historical, as we stand today, right? The equal succession rights for women is not there. The other social evil, which is meher, where a girl has to put up a money value to her contract of marriage. I see it as very derogatory for women. Equivalent to Dahej. Dahej again has a legal sanction against it, whereas Mehar has no legal sanction against it. Is perfectly a legal practice even today, despite of this being a deplorable practice. And then, of course, it is all coming out because the financial empowerment of women is very limited in Islam, and the core to that is polygamy. So that's the topic. If I've been able to explain.
Okay, so basically, as much I can get it from your explanation, it's something like that. Polygyny we are talking about more often from a female perspective.
Yeah,
So
the
so
discussion is more
Rad
women enablement.
woman
Yeah,
centric.
women
Okay,
centric. Yeah.
okay, I got it. So it's more about polygyny. And if you have added one word, I think that the question would be more better than the is a polygamy in patriarchal society. Then also, then we can include more number of people in that too, because in India we have seen a lot of tribes who are matriarchal too. And if we talk about polygamy or polygyny, so we have to consider the matriarchal and patriarchal aspect of the family setup also. But I would like to, I don't want to question any religion here because I'm nobody who is very expert in the religious aspect. I don't know about much
Nobody's
of the,
questioning religion,
yes, yes,
Darshan.
yes.
So the
Religious
point is,
practices even. Okay.
So
I'm,
just hold on, which is
okay, okay.
precisely has been my qualm since the start of this discussion, and I've pointed it out again and again.
Okay.
What if a religious sanctions it? Can't we talk about it?
Yes, definitely. That's what
Can't we criticize it?
that's what I was about to say. That if somebody on the in the panel has studied Brownlow's Malinowski, he has segregated three different things in the society. The first one is magic, then the science, and then the religion, and then the science. And he said that in ancient societies or primitive societies, there used to be magic, which was of the two types, scientific and non-scientific. We call it black magic, white magic, magic with the touch, magic without the touch. Then the systematic form and the optimistic view of magic came. We call it a religion. And then the evolution of different religions, and then it came science, and the concept of positivism and obsession of science, and then enlightenment in European societies came, and then we started abolishing our social levels one by one. But we have to, if we see this all aspect and we consider this topic polygamy, we have to think that what we are questioning, are we questioning the enlightenment thing which haven't happened in Asian societies, or we are questioning the simple practice of marriage which is happening in ancient societies? Either we are
Darshan,
discussing any of this. Yes,
Darshan,
yes.
I think you're going to many places. We are simply asking a simple question. If
See, if
polygamy, so hold on, Darshan, hold on. If in
yes.
contemporary society, world over, is polygamy considered to be a social evil or not? If it is considered to be a social evil in today's term, why is it that in India, a progressive society, 20% of our population, out of which half of them are women, right, still don't have a law preventing their husbands to marry more than one? Simple question.
So basically, you are speaking on the behalf of the victims of polygamy. Basically, I got you now.
Is
So the
polygamy, is
protection should be
Darshan,
there.
is polygamy a social
Yes.
evil or not?
See, it's not a social level, but few of its practices are when a
Whoa,
man is
okay.
dominant over when he gives divorce to her wife, and her
So
wife.
hold
Yes,
on, Darshan.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
So what you're saying, if it is not a social evil, should
Yes.
we as an Indian society refuse a law against polygamy if it is binding 80% of the population? We should then ask that polygamy be allowed for everybody in this country. Is that what you're subscribing?
So that means that you are asking me that we should abolish the freedom of choice, which is a fundamental right now. We should not read Rene Descartes, who said that I
No,
think therefore I am.
Darshan. You're going to too
Yes.
many places. Within this society, polygamy is allowed to 20% of the population, or rather 10% of the population, because male population is only 10% out of those 20%. And polygamy is denied to others,
So you mean you are
right?
you
From a
okay?
freedom of choice perspective, either we allow, if you don't consider it to be a social evil, then this freedom of choice should be allowed to each and every Indian citizen. Or if it is a
Yes.
social evil, then each and
Uh,
every citizen of this country should be restricted from carrying it out legally.
Yes, I agree with you partially that there should be equal laws on if the freedom of choice is applicable on the people of one religion, then it should be applicable on the people of other religion too. Somebody should not be dominant over his or her choice, and somebody should not be submissive on the basis of freedom of choice he or she does. So if somebody is getting the privilege, I don't want to name, but you can
You
understand what I
consider
am
this to
referring.
be a privilege?
Yes, somewhere it is a privilege also. Don't you think so?
So you're saying
From the male
so
perspective, if you see, yes.
so from so you subscribe to that polygamy should be a freedom of choice available to all the males, or you are of the opinion that polygamy as well as polyandry should be allowed to the entire set of 100%
That's when you
population
talk
of
about
this
polyandry,
country?
you should speak not polygamy. When I speak polygamy, I mean polygyny and polyandry both, which means that women is also allowed and
Man
men
is
is
also
also
allowed. Yeah.
allowed. It's their freedom of choice, not our discussion. I mean, our discourse, we can discuss on it. Obviously, we have freedom of expression. So when I speak polygamy, I mean polygyny and polyandry
Okay.
both. Yes.
So you are of the opinion that it should be allowed as a freedom of choice to every citizen of India.
Yes, of course, absolutely.
Okay.
As such law says, other than the cultural rights, I mean, we need to bring some reforms. Yeah, they are questionable that, but still, how do we protect our identity then? Don't you think we will become xenocentric if we bring such kind of laws?
I am not able to get a clear stand from you.
Yes. How can I be objective over this topic? I mean, this question itself is subjective, so how can I be on a
So
clear stand?
Andolanji, just one
okay.
second.
We'll move on.
Does it mean if we go by this definition? I don't know what is gynae and this, but polygamy as such and polyandry, if we allow these things, so that means the marriage is a defunct system. So marriages should not be allowed, or marriage should be allowed. So this is where the confusion is. You see, the universal, I mean, जो हमारा जो ये law है, it should be for everybody. It's not for you or me or anybody. The law is that if a woman has to be respected in one religion, it needs to be respected everywhere. So that is the
It's not
kind
about
of thing
religion.
where
If
it's
every
not
woman
about
of a
religion.
country, if
Should
every
be
woman
should
of
be
a country,
should receive
should get equal
required
rights.
respect. She's a human being, and as a human, she should have that respect. So that is the question, and we are moving round and round without any effects. So that's what I'm trying to say. So I think let's मेरे हिसाब से तो I think this is very important. हमें ये law तो लाना चाहिए जिसकी वजह से women will have equal rights as men. That's what I
I
would
have
say.
a question.
Then the
Can I
society
say something on this subject?
Yeah, Jazilji, 1 second. Darshan, you wanted to
yes, yes.
make a small rebuttal?
What Sunil sir said, I just want to add one or two points that if we do such things, whatever sir said, then when we register our marriage, I mean, obviously it's also a freedom of choice when somebody wants to marry and whom he or she wants to marry. But when he or she is doing so, and when we bring equal laws, then the family setup should not be patriarchal. It can also be matrilocal, or it can also be neolocal, which means that after the marriage, when the women goes to the house of her husband, it should be equally respectable when men goes and lives to the house of the
But
girl,
Darshan,
or
a
they
small
set up a
question.
different house. They
But
set up a different
Darshan,
house. Yes, please
A
go ahead.
small
Yes, sir.
question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, there are two aspects to every given situation. One is legal, the other one is social, right? When we make something legal, so are you saying in India, matriarchal setup is not legally possible or permissible?
I never
It
said
is.
that.
It is legally possible and permissible. Whether the society practices it, the answer to that is it is moving from patriarchal to a kind of situation. Whether nobody is going into anybody else's family to live in, the husband and wife today goes and creates a new family unit for themselves and state aways either from the woman's family or the parents, men's family. So, what you're talking about, you're mixing a lot of issues, social practices and legal aspects. Here, in India, when we talk about legalities, if there's one set of individual who goes and chooses his freedom to marry as many women as he wants. There's one set of men which is allowed to do so, and the other one is not. Right? So if we purely see it from a freedom perspective, that's one part of it. The second part of it is the legal aspect. If it is a social issue which is impacting women empowerment, then why it is just limited to one set of women and not to that empowerment not extended to women living in the same society but just belonging to a different religious group or sect. Yeah,
Yes, and
Jazi.
then
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, no, Darshan, complete if you want to say something.
Yeah,
Then
Yeah.
after Darshan, it's Jazib because I think he's an educated and a good speaker, I would say. I've heard him.
okay.
I
Well,
would like
I
to
just
say, yeah, thank you very much. Because the title of the room says that is polygamy the source of all social evils? First of all, that seems to be a bit of exaggeration. There is no
More so in
one
respect of
source of all.
women rights and empowerment, not
Okay,
yeah.
women rights. All right. So we are talking about women rights. Okay, I'll take that. So when we talk about women rights, do we mean that we get to respect their choices in whatever they get to choose? Is that what we mean by women
What do
rights?
you mean
Of
by
course,
that,
yes.
Jasip?
No,
एक
that's
minute.
okay. SMG, 1 minute. Let him complete. Yes, Jazib.
Because
Yes,
I want to know like the
yes,
source of
yes,
this
yes,
argument.
yes, 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 and yes.
Say tomorrow, a woman says that I want to marry my mother. Should we bring a legislation for women that they should be allowed to marry not only in the same sex, but
So
with
have you seen that? Okay, sorry, you're referring to marrying a mother. So that does that happen in your
no, it
society?
doesn't. I'm just providing because we are talking
So
about
Uh,
women
so
rights, right?
SMM,
no. So if you're
SMM,
talking
I'll
about
SMM,
interrupt.
wait,
SMM
Uh,
जाजिब, SMM एक सेकंड देखिए हम ये
एक मिनट
confrontational
आंदोलन जी
एक
यहाँ पे ही तो
SMM
fault
एक
है ठीक
सेकंड
है if
मैम
you're
एक
talking
सेकंड
about
मैम
marrying
SMM
another woman that's a different question now.
SMM when the mod is requesting everybody to hold on, please do so.
Yeah,
The
sorry.
idea of the room is not confrontational. The idea of the room is discussion, right? Let him complete, let him make his full point, then we will move forward with it.
Yeah,
Yeah, Jazib,
it's
go
very
on.
simple. It's very simple that if the state wants to work on the freedom of choices of people, then it shouldn't intervene in whatever people want to do, whether woman wants to marry 10 men or one man wants to marry 20 women. It shouldn't make any difference to it if it's only going to respect the freedom of choices of individuals. But if it wants to interfere, then I say, why only restrict it to say one man and one woman? Why not let's check the genders? Why not check the relationships? Let's interfere in each and everything.
Okay.
So
May
it's
I?
either one or yeah.
Okay. To answer your question, you're absolutely right, Jazep, that, if you see the reform process which is going on in this country or for that matter in this society, the freedom of choice is now, for individuals, as long as the freedom of choices impact individuals, those has been extended. So today, if a man wants to live with a man, a woman wants to live with a woman on any combinations thereof, including the broader LGBTQ community. They are fairly authorized or sanctioned to live their life the way they want to. And this is what is being happening to most of the progressive societies across the globe. Now, when it comes to marriage, the constitution of the most of the countries give higher weightage to the family structure, because when two individuals specifically come into contact for marriage and such arrangements, there is future generations which are involved. There are certain sets of obligations which are involved, in which interest of the future members are also taken into consideration, and certain restrictions are levied on the family unit. Having said so, please continue with your discussion.
Sure. Now, as we got it very clear that if a man wants to live with a man, he's allowed to do so. Let's say two men want to live with one woman, and that one woman wants to live with two men. Now, what is your locus argument against those three individuals who want to live together?
The law is very clear on that, Joseph.
No, but we're restricting their choice, right? And at least wouldn't you accept that we're restricting their freedom of
But
choice?
that's what polygamy is, right, Jasib?
Yeah, I know.
So
So
Yeah,
basic
polygamy
that
is
argument,
getting
you are
restricted.
basically accepting that that is what you're doing.
yeah, I'm saying
So
so. It's
how
not
does it
about
make a difference then either
so
ways?
that's what I
But
wanted to know.
your
Whether
example, no, but your example of a daughter having, relationship with the mother or the son having the relationship with the
Mhm.
father is a flawed one.
It's
So
not flawed.
looks
What
like
you
you probably
it, no,
you are probably putting an example that you guys have been following within your society.
no, that would be an
So
No,
that
no, no,
that's
no,
the
no.
that
example
Jazib,
you
no
got in.
SMM. No,
that
no,
would be
SMM. Jazib,
that.
So
Jazib, wait,
let's
wait.
let's 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 not make
Extending
it
Andolan
personal.
sir,
So,
one
Diksha ji,
point.
I
one just small
Jazib,
clarification first.
that
A small
आंदोलन
clarification
जी
first.
आंदोलन जी
A
एक छोटी
small
सी बात करनी
clarification.
थी
A
आउट ऑफ
small.
द टॉपिक
Hold on, my friend. Hold on. Let's not make it personal. We are debating a social evil. Okay. Either So Jadib, you have to be very clear. If if you are with respect to polygamy, then you should be okay with polyandry as well.
I
Or for that
even
matter,
support
hold on,
every
hold on, hold on,
yeah.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, my friend, hold on. And every such combinations thereof, right? What we are talking specifically with respect to Indian context is that Indian law sees polygamy as a social evil and hence restricted it for majority of its population, barring one section of the population, right? So
Okay, okay.
we need to have
Andolan, can
a
I speak on that?
uniform stand, huh?
Okay, sure. First of all,
Andolan ji, Jazib,
yeah.
one
No,
question.
no, I'll
Extending
come
your,
to Diksha
yeah,
one
yeah,
point.
yeah. No,
First
no,
of
no, no.
all,
You can answer me. You can answer me.
okay.
Extending your logical argument. If someday I have a fight with any of my friends and I hate that person, can I kill that person because I want to? And not killing that person will limit my freedom of expression.
That's a straw
So
man fallacy of my argument. But anyway,
no problem, no problem. Whatever fallacy it is, but I just extended
no,
your logical argument, right?
no, that's
So
not an extension of my
in
argument.
contrast with your example is also flawed.
No, because in your example, your freedom of choice, killing others, is harming others.
And
In
in
my
your
example, it's not.
it is taking away
Uh-huh.
the rights of women, right?
No,
It
I'm
is
saying
taking away
those
the
two.
rights.
I'm
It
saying
is.
that. No, I'm saying
Now,
that
whenever
women.
my turn will come, I'll explain how it
Sure.
is taking up the rights of women.
Actually, no, because that particular woman I talked about, she wants to live with that two men. That's not taking her freedom of speech. Anyway, talking about what Andolan, the laws do not deal with the morality or social evils. Laws deal with legality. That is to say, if I get charged for not wearing a helmet, me not wearing a helmet while riding a motorcycle, it's not an evil, it's a legal issue. You have to make a first difference between legality and morality. If you want to debate on the
So would
morality
you
of the issue,
argue the same thing
what
about
is
murder and dacoity as well?
exactly, we have consequentialist ethics, we have utilitarian ethics, we have a lot of ethics to deal with these issues. If you're discussing from a morality point of view, I don't see there, I have never heard any argument which debunks polygamy from just purely ethical or moral point of view. I would like to
So,
listen to
Jazib,
your argument then.
so okay, so just
आंदोलन
small point. Just 1 second, Amit. So very recently there was couple of years back there was discussion on triple talaq, right? Instant triple talaq. Should that be legal or
That
illegal?
should be illegal,
The
yeah.
court,
Illegal, yeah.
yeah. So the court held it to be illegal, and there was law framed against illegality, and there similar kind of arguments were given, right? Nobody is going to check whether or not a wife complains against her husband for instant triple talaq. But the point is, does the woman has the power to file a legal case? That's more important,
First, you
right?
have to be
Okay,
clear.
so
Andolan,
hold on. Jazib, just let me conclude. Just let me conclude.
Okay,
Just let me
okay, go
conclude.
Jazib,
on.
you will get
Yeah,
chance.
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
worry
Just let
about
me
it.
conclude, right? I'm not interrupting. Similarly, in Hindu society also, you may find few men who would, while be married, maybe having a keep or any other girlfriend or somebody, and his wife is okay with it, not filing a legal case against him. But does the woman has the right to file a case? The answer to that is yes. Whether the woman chooses to file a case is her option. Similarly goes for succession rights. A Hindu woman today has equal share of his ancestral property from his family. Whether she claims that right or gives it to his brother, that's his choice, her choice. But she has a legal right to claim it. The problem herein in this within the same Indian society, there is 20% of the population, out of which half of them are women, do not have that empowerment. They don't have a legal framework to ask to claim from their fathers half the share of ancestral property or their brothers. They don't have the right to stop their husbands from marrying other, jeopardizing their financial security and their kids' financial security. That's the challenge.
Okay, you seem to be again conflating the two issues. One is the moral issue. Is
Nobody
polygamy?
raised a moral issue.
Andolan ji,
Then
Amit,
it's
Amit,
not
I
a
like to,
problem.
I
See,
like to.
Amit, 1 second. Then if it's not a moral issue, then whatever is legal, do you deem that to be correct? For example, if tomorrow 80% of the Indians vote for, say, anyone who rides a motorcycle should be killed, that would be legal, but would that be moral?
We are talking abstract. I mean, if
But
the
there are
day
certain limitations of this.
the day this society starts doing that, it would disintegrate to be a
No,
society.
but
Let's face fact.
that is
So Jazib,
Nazis did the same. They didn't segregate.
we have seen this in Afghanistan when people come up and say, that if woman is working in media, they should be killed. That society is a disintegrated
Actually,
society. So let's not talk abstract.
that's not abstract.
Yeah.
Nazism killed Jews, and they thrived to some extent. It was not for the Second World War. They were doing pretty good even after killing the Jews. But that's not my point. I am saying your topic is purely moral. I mean, when you say social evil, evil includes moral or ethical thing. But what you are discussing is a legal thing. So you seem to be confused yourself about the issue.
May I, Andolan ji?
I mean, Jazib, if you have a valid point to make on the
I
topic, please
already
go ahead.
made. I mean, anyone
Rather
who's
than
Okay, may I, Andolan ji, may I, please?
chasing,
May I,
Amit,
I like
please.
to speak. Jazib, आपका आप हिंदी समझ जाते हैं या इंग्लिश में
no,
बोलो?
कोई भी I'll understand Hindi.
कोई भी चलेगा ना? हाँ, आप जो बार-बार एक चीज उठा रहे हैं यहाँ पे कि ये कानूनी मुद्दा है, आप या सोशल मुद्दा है, समथिंग ऐसा आपका क्वेश्चन है। कानून बनते कैसे हैं? क्वेश्चन नहीं है, मैं पूछ रहा हूँ अपनी बातों को रखने के लिए। कानून कहीं बाहर से नहीं बनते। सोसाइटी में जो चीजें होती है उसी को फिर एक फॉर्मल सिस्टम में दिया जाता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड लीगल, राइट ना? ऊपर से नहीं आता है कानून। तो कानून कैसे बनते हैं वो आपका प्रोसीजर अभी मेरे बातों से क्लियर हो गया होगा। और कानून बनाया क्यों जाता है? सिंपल सी बात है, समाज में चोरी कोई ना करे। भाई चोरी ना करे तो उसके लिए एक सजा का प्रावधान सिस्टम रखा जाता है ताकि चोरी ना हो। अब इसमें मॉरलिटी भी आ गई है और एक सिस्टम भी आ गया है। इसी तरह से अब मैं टॉपिक पे आ रहा हूँ, यहाँ पे बात हो रही है पॉलीगेमी। एक लाइन मैं अभी बोलूंगा वो आपको अच्छा लगेगा और वो मेरा प्राइवेट थॉट है। वो ये है, ये मैं किस धर्म, जाता, भाषा और लिंग, सेक्स के बिना बोल रहा हूँ। एवरी मेल एंड फीमेल आर लाइक पॉलीगेमी, ऐसा मेरा मानना है। ठीक है, हम लोग वही हैं, 2 पैर और 4 पैर में ज्यादा फर्क नहीं होता है। वी आर द सेम लाइक एनिमल, इसलिए मनुष्य एक सामाजिक प्राणी कहा गया ना। तो यहाँ से आप बातों को, बट वाई पॉलीगेमी को अवॉइड किया जाना चाहिए या वाई मैरिज सिस्टम स्टार्ट हुआ? पहले नहीं था हमारे यहाँ भी, बट अगर आप हिस्ट्री देखेंगे तो फिर एक मैरिज सिस्टम लाया गया कि इससे सोसाइटी में चीजें स्टेबलाइज होगी, बैलेंस रहेगी। हमारी बात कर रहा हूँ तो मैं सनातन की बात कर रहा हूँ, 80% की बात कर रहा हूँ। अब 20% की बात करते हैं। अरे मेरे को कंप्लीट करने दो ना। नो कंप्लीट करने दो। नो लेट मी कंप्लीट। कंप्लीट तो करने दो।
Jazib, you will have to take 2 questions, one from Amit ji and second one is Diksha because she is waiting. Okay, 2 क्वेश्चन ले लेना प्लीज।
हाँ, तो अब बात आ गई 20% कि व्हाई पॉलीगेमी, कहाँ चला गया ऊपर टॉपिक। हाँ, इस पॉलीगमी द सोर्स ऑफ ऑल सोशल एविल। इंपॉर्टेंट बात जो बार-बार हम यहाँ पे उठा रहे हैं कि जो लीगल फ्रेमवर्क नहीं मिला है 20%, इसलिए बार-बार एक चीज़ और कहा जाता है कि मुस्लिमों में डाइवोर्स नहीं होता है, डाइवोर्स का रेशियो कम है। भाई साहब, उनकी सोच ही नहीं जाती है मुस्लिम वुमेन की अगर बात कहूँ। आप एजुकेशन का स्तर देख लें, बाकी चीज़ों को देख लें। बोले हमारे यहाँ ये सब होता नहीं है, वो बाकी वो में ज़्यादा होता है। भाई आपके यहाँ अवेयरनेस नहीं है इसलिए नहीं होता है, डेटा ही नहीं है, वहाँ तक लोग पहुँच ही नहीं पाते हैं। ठीक है? सोशल एविल सीधी सी बात है, मैरिज इज़ अ वेरी पर्सनल थिंग, चाहे वो हिंदू करे, मुस्लिम करे, सिख करे, ईसाई करे। लेकिन जब पॉलीगमी वाला जब मैटर आ जाता है तो ये फिर वो पर्सनल नहीं हो जाता है, फिर ये सोशल हो जाता है, क्योंकि सोसाइटी के स्ट्रक्चर को भी ये अटैक करता है। इसलिए हम लोग यहाँ पे डिस्कस कर रहे हैं और इसलिए हमारा मानना है कि पॉलीगमी इज द सोर्स ऑफ ऑल सोशल एविल। या ओवर
Now
टू
that's
Specifically,
exactly. I
specifically
think
when
I
it
think
comes to women
Andolan,
rights. Yeah.
Andolan, I think we already reached a conclusion. Now listen to what I'm saying very carefully. Say there is an unmarried
What
boy.
is the conclusion that you have come to?
No, no,
Sorry, can you repeat? What is the conclusion that you have come
I
to?
think people will see for
No,
themselves,
can
and
you
if
just
they
repeat
couldn't,
it?
then
No
I.
problem. You can just repeat what is.
No,
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 he has not
those
said
are
it, SM.
repeated.
He has not said it.
Yeah. So if there is a boy who is unmarried and he's in multiple relationships and he has sex in one girl and in different relationship with another girl, different relationship with another girl, so on it goes. Say he has relationship with 10 sexual different partners who he called girlfriends in the past. Now once he marries, you're saying that let's restrict it to one. Now I see a huge inconsistency there if you call it now as a moral evil, because let me finish. If your morality was one to one, that even the past, which I call as adultery and I consider it wrong, you should have considered that as wrong as well and tried to restrict that as well. But no, you're not doing anything about that. You're only concerned with after marriage part. And I see there's a huge inconsistency within your own arguments.
Okay,
Okay,
can I
now,
ask
okay,
you
so
one
wait,
question? Ek
hold on,
minute,
hold on, hold on, hold
Gandhi.
on, hold on. So according to Jazib, we should make a law that says a boy should have only one girlfriend and a girl should have only one boyfriend.
Technically, yes.
Right, Jazib?
Technically, yes.
Mm-hmm.
May I
Then what
just
about the live-in
add in 10
relation?
seconds?
Wait. Then what about the
SMG,
live-in?
SMG,
एक minute,
SMG,
Ashish,
एक
please.
छोटा सा पॉइंट मैं बस बोल लूँ। देखिए फरदीन जी, जाजिब जी, अगर आप क्या कहते हैं एक फैमिली को केवल सेक्स के पैमाने पे तौलते हैं तो आपका कंक्लूजन से मैं एग्री कर लेता, लेकिन जब फैमिली बनाई जाती है, जैसे आपने निकाह करा जाता है, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ मैरिज, हमारे यहाँ विवाह समारोह होता है, उसकी आधारशिला सेक्स उसका हिस्सा होता है, पर सेक्स होता है वंश वृद्धि के लिए, आगे आने वाली फ्यूचर जनरेशन्स के टेक केयर और रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी इस फैमिली यूनिट की उठाने के लिए। तो ये जो आप वन गर्लफ्रेंड वन बॉयफ्रेंड की बात कर रहे हैं,
I
थ्री
think
गर्लफ्रेंड, एक
Andolan
जाजिब जी
ji,
आपके साथ ये
have you heard about
आपको किसी ने
Gandhara
टोका था
Villa?
क्या? आपको किसी ने टोका था आपकी बात
Okay.
करते समय? नहीं टोका था ना, तो आप थोड़ा सुनिए भी। तो आप क्या कहते हैं, अगर इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को देखिए, डज इट पुट्स limitation on anybody to have having girlfriends or boyfriends or etc. No, but once you enter into a formal relationship, and even without the bond of marriage, even in live-in relationship, now the courts have ruled with respect to live-in relationship also that there is certain set of responsibilities which the partners of live-in relationship have to undertake, right? And they have built it, they're slowly building it up closer to the responsibilities which are associated with marriage. So ये जो आप एग्जाम्पल यहाँ पे दे रहे हैं ये बेमानी है, फैमिली क्या कहते हैं यूनिट के कॉन्सेप्ट पे ये फेल होती है आपका एग्जाम्पल। और इसीलिए जो पॉलीगैमी की आप बात कर रहे हैं, जो प्रेवलेंट है मुस्लिम सोसाइटी में, it is a social evil because it hampers with the woman's right, because she is under constant threat that the day she talks about her own empowerment and enablement, seeks equal right, she does not even has the right to claim financial support for the family unit she has been catering for 1 year, 2 year, 15, 20 or 50 years. Her husband will bring in a new one.
No, wait. Okay,
and she
Andolan,
would also not
Yeah,
get
Andolan,
equal,
Andolan,
and
you're
she will
wrong.
also not get equal proportion from her parental property. That is an added issue. And then she has to put up, while marriage she has to sell herself to a larger meher amount to ensure her financial stability, which
Okay,
itself
Andolan,
is
wait.
a social.
okay. Is that
Okay,
your
Andolan.
no,
Okay,
no,
Andolan, wait.
Fardeen, please,
Okay,
Fardeen.
Jazzy, wait. Hold on. Okay,
No,
so you
let me
mentioned that a
address this
woman doesn't
first.
have a right. Okay, so so just to correct you, if a woman writes in her marriage contract that if her husband marries another woman, then the marriage is invalid.
Yeah,
That is
Andolan
totally
has
legal in
still
Islam.
no, he
I mean,
still committed fallacy because the court judgment he was talking about, they was talking about if anyone here can read it, it will be available online. It's talking about children born out of live-in relationship will be considered legitimate. Now that's not even my argument. My argument is a boy outside of marriage can have
No,
multiple girlfriends,
Jazib,
multiple sexual
Jazib.
partners. Is that
But
wrong? Andolan,
Jazib, okay,
Andolan,
एक minute, Jazib, are we talking about एक minute, are we talking about boyfriend girlfriend issue or are we talking about marriage issue? Because if I'm not wrong, polygamy happens in the marriage.
we
Okay,
are
and one
talking
more
about,
question I have.
okay.
One more question I have. Let's be very restrictive, yaar. You know, no use of going round and round bringing boyfriend girlfriend because वो मुद्दा है नहीं, ठीक है? ये सच्चाई है. शादी से पहले आपकी भी रिलेशनशिप हो सकती है, एक लड़की की भी रिलेशनशिप हो सकती है, वो सीरियस हो सकता है, वो कैजुअल हो सकता है, दैट्स अ डिफरेंट क्वेश्चन, ठीक है? तो उस पे तो हम जाते नहीं है, उस पे हम बातचीत करेंगे नहीं अभी फिलहाल. Let's come to the topic where we are talking about polygamy. I don't know if you're married or not. I would assume that you're married. If I'm assuming that you're married and you have a wife, I don't know if you're going to have 4 wife or five wife according to the polygamy. And say that your wife tells me I want to have a relationship with some other guy and probably get married. Will you be okay with it?
Yes,
You will be okay with it to share
yes.
your woman with someone else.
I'll tell
Okay,
you
fine.
to go marry some other women, man. Yeah, we
No,
already
but
have.
That's something.
keeping you in a married in but being in your nikah.
Uh-huh. No, that will be. I'll tell her to go marry someone else. Yes,
Why you can keep her in a nikah? No, your polygamy is
because
allowed. Then why is she not allowed
because
to have relationship with the other men?
because as I said, there should be consent from all the parties. There is not
So
my
then
consent as
how
well.
is it okay? Then how is it right for the woman to
Uh-huh.
share her men with other
It's
women?
it's not her right. It's not right. If she doesn't want to, she doesn't need to be in the relationship.
No,
That's
but
the point.
okay. Did you actually, if I'm not wrong, you know,
Mhm.
when you're doing a polygamy in as per the Muslim
अच्छा,
law,
ऐसे मैम,
एक मिनट आंदोलन जी
ऐसे
एक
मैम,
मिनट
मैं इसलिए
आंदोलन जी
आपको
एक
रोक रहा
क्वेश्चन.
हूँ, मैं इसलिए रोक रहा हूँ आपको. देखिए वो we have listeners who have assessed the argument of Jazib ji. Let us move forward. There are a lot of other speakers are requesting their time. Jija, you wanted to say something. Diksha ji, you wanted to say something.
After Jija, I think
Me also.
Surendra.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Surendra bhai का भी
and
है.
me also, please.
Yeah,
yeah.
फरदीन से start करें because I think
2 मिनट
please
रुक
आप बता
जाते.
दीजिए.
So Fardeen has spoken, Jazib has spoken,
Okay, okay.
Jija, Diksha, and Surendra haven't spoken. Let us let them make at least initial remarks. Jija, you want to speak?
भाई आंदोलन जी, ये जो नीचे बैठा है ना उर्दू में, इसको ये बताओ जो इटावा जेल में
अरे
आपके
प्रतीक
जो
जी,
कश्मीरी
प्रतीक जी,
पंडित बैठे
अरे
प्रतीक जी,
प्लीज
प्लीज.
डोंट डू
हाँ,
दिस प्रतीक भाई प्लीज.
हाँ.
एक
Let's
बार रुक
stick to the
जाइए.
topic. हाँ, let's
आंदोलन जी
stick to the
बैक चैनल प्लीज जस्ट से.
हाँ, अच्छा.
मुझे टॉपिक पे कुछ बोलना है.
हाँ, आपको भी बोलने देंगे. सुमित जी, एक बार पहले लाइन में. जीजा, you don't want to speak anything? We can move to Surendra ji. I think Diksha ji is busy.
Okay, thank you, आंदोलन जी, मुझे बोलने की मौका देने के लिए. So, in an ideal world, ना कोई polygamy करे, polyandry करे या live in relationship करे, जो भी करे, there should be no interference of state in that. वो लोगों का ना आपस का है, and people should have freedom to do whatever they please in ideal world. If they like there's consent and everything, they can do polygamy, polyandry, live in relationship. It's okay. But practical world में ऐसा हो, practical world में it's not feasible. Practical world में क्या होता है, especially in an Indian context, men exercise lot of influence over women. क्या आप कंसेंट की बात करते हैं कि अगर वुमेन कंसेंट है, अगर वुमेन का कंसेंट है तो मेन कैन हैव मल्टीपल पार्टनर्स। तो उसमें क्या होता है कि कंसेंट अगर वुमेन का नहीं भी हो, देन कई तरीकों से, कई इनडायरेक्ट तरीकों से, डायरेक्ट तरीकों से यू कैन फोर्स द वुमेन टू गिव कंसेंट एंड देन यू कैन हैव मल्टीपल पार्टनर्स। तो इसलिए पॉलीगैमी नहीं होनी चाहिए and it's a social evil. I won't call it source of all evil, social evil. वो गलत है. It's a social evil, but it's not the source of all social evil. The source of all social evil will be patriarchy in the society,
No,
not
casteism
polygamy.
to me.
Maybe
अच्छा, ये
polygamy उसकी
वन सेकेंड,
मेरे को बोलने
वन
दीजिए
सेकेंड
प्लीज।
सुरेंद्र जी, जब यहाँ पे हम ऑल द सोशल इविल्स कह रहे हैं, हमारा मतलब फोकस्ड अराउंड वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट इश्यूज से है। ये मैं भी मानता हूँ कि पॉलीगैमी के कारण लोग ड्रग्स नहीं लेने लगते हैं, पॉलीगैमी के कारण लोग हत्या नहीं करने लगते, दैट आई डोंट एग्री, बट दिस इज मोर विद रिस्पेक्ट टू वुमेन इश्यूज एंड द एम्पावरमेंट ऑफ वुमेन इन स्पेसिफिक सोसाइटीज।
मैं आई वोंट से ड्रग इज सोशल इविल, बट लेकिन नहीं, हम लोग उस टॉपिक पे नहीं जाएंगे अभी, हम लोग पॉलीगैमी पे। सो थोड़ा सा ये है कि इट्स नॉट, इट्स पैट्रियार्की इज लाइक कॉज ऑफ लॉट ऑफ सोशल इविल्स एंड polygamy is a social evil and there should be no polygamy, it should be made illegal. लेकिन इसमें मैं एक ये सही है एंड इट्स लाइक इट्स माय व्यू पॉइंट इसमें, लेकिन मैं एक चीज और कहना चाहूंगा, एक और चीज ऐड करना चाहूंगा कि आई थिंक द current regime, they do not really care about the welfare of Muslim women or Muslim society. They are just उनका एजेंडा है और अपने एजेंडा के कारण वो लोग ये सब चीज प्रोपेगेट कर रहे हैं और ये प्रोपेगेंडा वो लोग कर रहे हैं सोशल मीडिया पे एंड वेरियस अदर प्लेसेस। इवन दिस चैनल आई बिलीव इज अ पार्ट ऑफ दैट प्रोपेगेंडा कि the current regime and the current RSS Hindutva ecosystem, they are want to propagate hatred against Muslim and उनका एजेंडा है और उस एजेंडे की तहत वो लोग इस पे बहस कर रहे हैं, इस पे मतलब इतना कर रहे हैं। लेकिन notwithstanding that, I still feel it's a social evil and maybe अभी indirectly maybe जो भी है कुछ फायदा होगा, चाहे जो भी मतलब प्रोपेगेंडा whatever they are doing, whatever because of their own interest, but indirectly थोड़ा बहुत इससे benefit होगा मुस्लिम society को। I hope there will be some reforms among them and they will maybe not willingly but maybe forcibly, अगर बंद होती है polygamy and Muslim personal laws में change आते हैं, that's okay, that's a welcome thing. Thank you.
जी,
I'm done.
अच्छा, तो सुरेंद्र जी आप ये कहना चाह रहे थे, देखिए भाई, सत्ता पे तो मेरा कोई कंट्रोल नहीं है, ना ही मतलब मेरे पास होम मिनिस्टर या प्राइम मिनिस्टर का फोन आता है एडवाइस लेने के लिए, तो उनके बारे में तो मैं कमेंट नहीं कर सकता। पर आपने जैसे कहा, मान लीजिए इस ग्रुप को मुस्लिम वुमेन इंटरेस्ट में अगर कोई रूम लगाना था वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट के विषय पे, तो हम लोग ऐसा क्या कर सकते थे जिससे कि आपको हमारी इंटेंट बायस्ड या आरएसएस वाली या संघी वाली ना लगती? मतलब व्हाट कुड वी हैव डन बेटर? One option was not to even talk about social evils faced by 10% of our population. The second is, please give us suggestion कि अगर हमको उसके बारे में बात भी करनी है और हम संघी ना लगे या प्रोपोगेंडिस्ट ना लगे, तो ऐसे कैसे रख सकते हैं जिससे आगे हम लोग वो थोड़ा सा बेहतर कर सके? प्लीज बताइए इस पे।
उस पे तो मेरे को सोचना पड़ेगा, इस टॉपिक पे डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन है, लेकिन क्या करूँ, उसमें वो आती है मे बी जिस तरह के रूम्स आप होस्ट करते हैं, जिस तरह के रूम्स आप लोग ऑर्गेनाइज करते हैं और जिस तरह का मतलब डिस्कशन होता है उस रूम से, उस कारण आती है। अगर ये जेन्युइनली अगर आप खुद अगर मुस्लिम सोसाइटी से होते हैं, अगर मुस्लिम वुमेन ही ये आवाज उठा रही होती, अगर ये कोई मुस्लिम मैन या फिर मतलब मुस्लिम प्रोग्रेसिव अगर ये लोग भी इस तरह का रूम करते हैं, तो आई थिंक
बट
इट
ऊपर
वुड हैव।
लिखा कहाँ पर है हिंदू मुस्लिम? आई कांट सी रिलीजन रिटन अबव देयर।
हाँ, नहीं, पर सुरेंद्र जी का ये कहना है चूंकि मेरी आवाज मर्दों जैसी है और चूंकि मैं बोलता हूँ कि मैं हिंदू हूँ, तो मैं ये मुद्दा नहीं उठाना चाहिए मुझे।
नहीं
ठीक है
उठाना
सुरेंद्र
नहीं
जी।
चाहिए, ये नहीं बोलूंगा, मैं
हाँ,
कहूंगा ये आवाज वहां से आती तो ज्यादा
पर
अच्छा
अगर
लगता,
अगर
ज्यादा अच्छा
अगर
मतलब।
आवाज नहीं आ रही है सुरेंद्र जी, तो क्या अब जैसे मतलब छोटी
अब
बच्चियों के
देखिए
साथ, एक सेकंड सुरेंद्र जी, अब मैं आपको एग्जांपल देता हूँ। मान लीजिए हिंदुस्तान के अंदर छोटी बच्चियों के साथ, छोटे बच्चों के साथ दुष्कर्म होता है, उनके पास तो आवाज उठाने के लिए आवाज ही नहीं होती है। तो अगर मतलब कोई उनके लिए आवाज उठाता है, तो वो मतलब क्या उसको भी एजेंडा के तहत देखना चाहिए प्रोपेगेंडा?
आई थिंक
ठीक है,
ये
आई
फॉल्स
टेक योर
इक्विवेलेंस
पॉइंट
है,
सुरेश
फॉल्स
जी।
इक्विवेलेंस है आप सर। हाँ
हाँ
ठीक है,
हाँ,
अपने
आई
दोनों
टेक योर
इस
पॉइंट।
टॉपिक पे एग्री करते हैं।
आई टेक योर
आई
पॉइंट।
सपोर्ट
आप
यू इन
मुझे
दिस टॉपिक।
आप थोड़ा सोच के मुझे बता दीजिएगा कि हम लोग किस तरह से इन विषयों को उठा सके, जिससे कि लोगों को ये एहसास ना हो कि ये प्रोपोगंडा या गलत इंटेंट की वजह से उठाया गया है, तो हम लोग शायद इंप्रूवमेंट करने की कोशिश कर सके। लेट्स मूव फॉरवर्ड।
आंदोलन जी, I want
जी दीक्षा जी। हाँ
जी, so मैं no wait, it's my turn. So I like to start with something what AIMPLB stated. उसके बाद I'll put forward my points with certain proofs. So AIMPLB quoted, an unlawful mistress is more harmful for social fabric than a lawful second wife. This was the first statement. Now I'd also quote second statement. Defending the Sharia granting right to divorce to the husband, the AIMPLB said that men have greater power of decision making. They are more likely to control emotions and not to take a hasty decision. Men are expected to behave thus on the following grounds. So, by these two statements, we know what is the status of women in a particular society. Secondly, इन्हीं दो स्टेटमेंट्स को मद्देनजर रखते हुए we'll also see कि कैसे the rights of women have been constricted within the society. First of all, when we talk about polygamy, it's like marrying multiple women, which we can quote to four. Now, जब एक इंसान चार औरतों से शादियां करता है, तो it is quite possible that the count of children goes to either 6, 8, 10, depending on the family, right? वहीं पर एक इकोनॉमिकल फैक्टर आता है और वहीं पे एक एजुकेशनल फैक्टर आता है. You are growing your family, but is the educational qualifications are getting met by the children? फिर वहाँ पे आपका एक जो कि आप अभी यहाँ पे बहुत लोग बोल रहे हैं पेट्रियार्कल एंगल, यस वो आ जाता है because you focus on the education of a boy rather than a girl, which is supposed to be working at home. I'll quote the examples and the proofs later. उसके बाद because they can marry at the age of 16, they are married off. फिर अगेन बिकॉज लड़की ने देखा है कि उसका पापा भी कर रहा है polygamy, it's a kind of a chain reaction that happens with the boy or the family of the girl. So उसने भी देखा है, एंड कहीं ना कहीं उसका एक साइकोलॉजिकल फैक्टर बन गया हो कि polygamy is quite good. I won't say good, but it's quite normal in a family. वो चेन उसके साथ रहती है. Then if by any chance a woman wants to get out of the marriage, वहाँ पे एक सोसाइटी का फैक्टर आ जाता है, वहीं पे फाइनेंशियल फैक्टर्स आ जाते हैं जो कहीं ना कहीं उसको वो करने से रोकते हैं. Now because she doesn't get as much as amount of money from her father, सेकंड फैक्टर हो जाता है कि उसके पापा के भी इतने सारे बच्चे हैं तो किस उसको पैसा देंगे, राइट? तो यहाँ पे शी काइंड ऑफ डाइवर्जेस फ्रॉम गेटिंग डिवोर्स. बट अगर वो डिवोर्स ले भी लेती है, देयर इज ऑलवेज एन ऑप्शन ऑफ हलाला, राइट, व्हिच हैज बीन यूज्ड रियली वेरी what should I say, बहुत बहुत ज्यादा विकार, बहुत गलत तरीके से इस हलाला की प्रैक्टिस को यूज किया जाता है. अगेन द डिग्निटी ऑफ वुमेन गोज डाउन. एक और चीज है, वी कैन ऑल्सो कोट कि चलो लड़की है काम कर सकती है, बट आई लाइक टू कोट सर्टेन थिंग्स जो मेरी डीपी में भी है. द बेसिक प्रिंसिपल इज दैट अ वुमेन should remain at home and not go out except for necessary purposes. Allah says interpretation of the meaning is and stay in your houses and do not display yourself like that of the times of ignorance. That is Al-Hazar 33:33. Secondly,
Have you read
हाँ,
this
wait
chapter?
पर
wait a
दीक्षा
minute,
जी
wait a minute,
Further
मेरे को
जी
पूरा
will
बोलने दो.
explain.
नहीं
एक
नहीं, मेरे
सेकेंड
को पूरा बोलने दो, मेरे को
Okay.
पूरा बोलने दो. उसके बाद आई टेक द क्वेश्चन, राइट? उसके बाद एक और
एक
चीज है.
छोटा सा इंटरजेक्शन कर लूं दीक्षा मैम?
जी
देखिए
जी आंदोलन
ये जो आपने वर्स लगाया था, ये एक्चुअली
जी,
लीगली टेनेबल इंडिया में नहीं है. इंडिया में,
ओके,
हाँ इंडिया में देखिए कोई भी मुस्लिम वुमेन है काम करने तो जा ही सकती है, उसके ऊपर कोई लीगल
डेफिनेटली.
रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं है. तो व्हाट वी आर
आंदोलन जी
टॉकिंग इज
यहाँ पे
मोर
मेरा
मोर
ये
मोर
लीगल
विद रिस्पेक्ट
रिस्ट्रिक्शन
टू,
का नहीं है.
हाँ
ये मेरा लीगल रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं है, दिस इज मोर अबाउट सोसाइटी का
हाँ नहीं,
फैक्टर,
बट
आई जस्ट
सोसाइटी, मैं
मेंशन
इसलिए
कल्चर एंड
इसको
सोसाइटी
अवॉइड कर रहा हूँ ना
फैक्टर।
डिस्कशन को मैम, क्योंकि देखिए सोशल, ये जब जब हम सोसाइटी का रिस्ट्रिक्शन, जब लीगली वो महिला के पास ये पावर है कि अगर कोई उसको काम करने से रोकता है तो उसको खिलाफ जाके लीगल केस कर सकती है। यहाँ पे
आंदोलन
जो
जी,
हम लोग, हाँ यहाँ पे जो हम लोग पूरा डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं वो लीगल फ्रेमवर्क में, कि अगर उसका पति दूसरी शादी करता है तो वो उसको लीगली रोक नहीं सकती है।
हाँ दैट्स
अगर
डेफिनेट,
अगर
तो वहाँ
अगर
पे
अगर उसका बाप उसको बराबर प्रॉपर्टी में हिस्सा नहीं देता है तो वो मांग नहीं सकती
okay, great, great. So
है।
I
हाँ सो
won't quote
यू नो,
second one. I won't quote second one because ये नहीं है. So I won't quote that. But yeah, I would like to put forward the points of inheritance laws. Secondly, the halala practice, and of course, as I said, which should not be taken, but the cultural aspects of a women. So these are the questions that are put forward on the dignity plus the freedom of expression of a women. When we are talking about the privilege of men of a particular society, why shouldn't we talk about the privilege of women of that particular society? And this is my proofs to the questions that I put forward for Jazib as well when he was
No.
talking just about sex.
Now, Diksha.
And because he takes marriage as the contract to have a sexual intercourse,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
I don't know
exactly.
what I should say
Sure,
more
sure. Now,
because
please let me respond. The verse Diksha quotes 33:33.
जाजिब,
I mean,
that was
yeah,
taken,
but
जाजिब,
I
that
think,
was
yeah,
put
जाजिब,
down, that was
जाजिब,
put
that
down.
was taken out of discussion
Fardeen
यार।
bhai can explain if you want to have that.
no,
Fardeen can
because
explain
I
to
am
you.
going
हाँ,
anyway in 2 minutes.
Jazib,
So
Jazib, hold on,
I have
Jazib, my
actually
friend,
to leave.
Jazib,
Yeah,
my friend, hold.
yeah.
I'll invite you to speak. Because we took the religious scripture out of discussion. We don't want to discuss religious scripture. What we want to discuss about is legal aspects at Indian society, right? So we will not
Uh-huh.
go there. Fardeen, any comments there, because you haven't spoken for a while.
Thank you for giving me the mic. So what Joseph is arguing about is basically that if you are against polygamy, then why are you against polygamy? Is it because a man is having multiple sexual partners? And if that is so, then he should also be against a boyfriend, a boy having multiple girlfriends.
Exactly.
And exactly,
From a
Joseph. I
moral
got a question.
standpoint, and for example, what Diksha said, a
Jazib, Jazib,
man.
Jazib,
One
Jazib,
second. Let me
Jazib,
finish
you have to
my.
hold on. Jazib, you have to hold on.
Okay.
Fardeen, have you completed your
No,
point?
I'm not completed. Yeah. So
Okay, so
yeah.
please complete your point.
So yeah, relationships and marriage are not the same, to be honest, because marriage is seen as a sort of a sort of a thing that we do in the in the whole society. I mean, we invite people, we get married, and when you're in a marriage, then you cannot have multiple partners. Then why doesn't the same apply to live in
Fardeen, that is the
relationships?
problem. When marriage was seen above contract, what happened?
अरे भाई साहब
उसने
बोलने तो
भाई
दो,
साहब
उनको
बोल
टू द
तो लेने
पॉइंट.
दो भाई, उसको एक
अरे
पॉइंट अपना कंप्लीट तो
उसने
कर
बोला
लेने दो. लेट हिम फिनिश हिज पॉइंट, then I will respond to his point, then I will bring you in.
Okay.
फरदीन जी कंप्लीट कर लीजिए आप अपना पॉइंट.
So relationships and marriage are not seen the same. Marriages are more of a sort of a school type system where you get married to your partner, while in relationships there is no sort of a legal bound. But in marriages there are legal bounds. Now, to argue about whether monogamy or polygamy is good, we can look at the consequences and the statistics that actually show that monogamy relationships work much better than polygamy. But also there are statistics that show the opposite. I mean, it depends on the country, right? So if you go in Saudi Arabia, of course, polygamy would work much better than monogamy. So, and if you just want to ban polygamy because it has a harm effect, it takes away the rights of women, of course you can do that. And then the question comes about, if there is certain bad part in the system, would you ban the whole part? For example, if like drugs are bad, I mean, some people take drug on a daily basis and they are the fault for it. So would you ban drugs for all the persons? Similarly, in driving, I mean, if you drive and make accidents, that is your fault. For that reason, driving all cars should not be banned. And the same case goes to polygamy. So if some people and if some women are not getting any rights in polygamy, so shall you take the rights of the freedom of speech of some persons who are willing to be in a polygamous relationships? And I would be more on the monogamous side because it works better in a country like India. And the statistics are clear. I think you posted 1 hour ago, and it shows that the monogamous relationships work much better than the polygamous one. And I would conclude with that.
Okay, so I'll come back to the topic again, linking it, the source of all social evil to polygamy, and Diksha ji explained it very well.
Should I?
In
I
Arre
wasn't
bhai,
able.
I also want to respond.
Yeah.
I'll invite you, Jazip. Just hold on
Okay.
for a minute.
Okay.
Your points would be equally relevant 5 minutes hence. So okay. So the point which we are trying to make out here, polygamy is a drain on society, specifically when it is not equally, applied across the board. Because what happens, as Dikshadi rightly explained, in when you can't compare a institution of marriage or nikah for that matter, even a long-term contract of marriage with a girlfriend boyfriend relationship, because a girlfriend boyfriend relationship do not envisage a family unit, does not envisages having kids, supporting kids, educating them, building a better society for future. So all that is not envisaged within a girlfriend-boyfriend relationship. It is envisaged in a relationship of nikah, marriage, or vivah, by whatever name you want to call it. Right? So that's a key difference. A second set of people are involved other than just two individuals in marriage. Right? With polygamy, you ought to have more than one wives, which eventually results into having quite a larger number of family unit, draining the financial resources of that family unit, ending up that family unit becoming a burden on the society. So the financial resources of the entire society are also burdened by a larger family unit, where the family is not able to meet the needs of the future generations, whether it comes to education, etc., etc., etc. And if you see a lot of reports on the situation of Muslim education and economic conditions in India, this may relate back to the situation of polygamy and less interest on education and these aspects for future generations. So not only women empowerment, but when it comes to future generations also, a lot of social evil is caused through polygamy. Jazif, over to you.
Yeah, sure thing. Because all the points Diksha made, I'll just say the problem is not just that. The problem is, for example, traditionally seeing marriage something as as contract, which used to happen, like Sat Sat Janmo Ka Sat. And what used to happen? Women were not supposed to divorce their husbands. Even in some cases, we had then Sati Pratha, wearing white clothes for entire life. I mean, if Diksha reads, I mean, in Satya Pada, when he takes
RHP,
the
So
we were
Jazib,
the
we,
yeah,
president
we,
case
we
think
took
that
that
is
out of
wrong.
discussion.
Yeah.
We are
okay,
talking
okay.
contemporary. We are talking what
One
is
second,
legal, what is not legal
Andolanji,
today.
even if you take that example, Jazi, we were the people who brought reforms, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So I think you should also take that in your mind.
Yeah,
It
I'll
will
take that
be,
into
yeah.
consideration. Because one example Diksha gave, if a man marries 4 women, then naturally they will have 8 children. But the problem is, in that case, the fertility will still be 2. 8 divided by 4 equal 2, right? So I do not see from that perspective. And the point Andolan raised, that a boyfriend, girlfriend don't raise children. Well, so do not a heterosexual couples. And again, you do the same mistake of conflating it with sex. Initially, when I was talking about sex, you were not admitting that point. Now, when I brought boyfriend, girlfriend relationship, multiple relationships, you're bringing the point of children, raising children. Now, I do not see which one you're standing. Are you dismissing your own argument, the first one you're providing? Are you changing your argument now? Which one is it?
Joseph,
My
first of all, let
my
me clear.
argument is the same since beginning, and which was said that a boyfriend relationship, girlfriend relationship, is not equivalent to a marriage, nikah or vivah, whatever name you call it, because the institution of marriage, nikah or vivah, whatever name it is, envisages a future generation, rearing of children, giving them good education, making them part of the society. A girlfriend boyfriend relationship doesn't envisages any of these things.
Neither does heterosexual, homosexual
Joseph,
relationships.
let
So,
me
so,
also
so,
bring up
Can
so
one
I
more point.
homosexual.
respond?
Wait a minute.
So
Wait a
just to
minute.
clarify,
Can
Jazim,
I go in?
so just to clarify, Jazim, in why do you bring in a homosexual union over here? Because we are talking about polygamy over here in India. Two individuals in a homosexual relationship are allowed to live their life the way they want to. So again,
So
we are
so
talking
it would be
legally. We are talking legally. They are allowed to do so.
so are polygamous couples allowed legally? Now
So
why do you have problem
no
with
no,
that?
which is what I'm saying. Polygamy is only restricted. So ऐसा नहीं है कि homosexuals केवल एक ही religion के या एक ही state के homosexual couples allowed है और दूसरे के नहीं है. यहाँ पे इंडिया में दो सेट ऑफ इंडिविजुअल्स के लिए दो अलग अलग सेट ऑफ रूल्स हैं. उस पे क्वेश्चन हो रहा है कि वहां पे क्या कहते हैं वुमेन अधिकारों का हनन हो रहा है.
Actually,
एक
no.
एक तरफ की वुमेन को तो अधिकार है कि वो अपने पति को उनका और उनके बच्चों का फाइनेंशियल फ्यूचर डिस्ट्रॉय करने के लिए लीगल रिकोर्स ले सकती हैं. दूसरी तरफ की महिलाओं को वो अधिकार नहीं है. तो हम उनको ये अधिकार देने की बात कर रहे हैं. वो इस अधिकार को अप्लाई करना चाहे करें, ना करना चाहे ना करें, पर ये अधिकार उनके पास होना चाहिए.
So should be the
Andolan bhai,
aware
I
of
would like to come in
polygamy
now.
and polyandry, right?
All.
Then I agree with you.
Okay, I would
Wait,
like
I
to
wait,
come
think
in.
यहाँ
wait.
पे
Andolan
I
bhai,
think यहाँ पे
Jazim,
एक
please.
सेकंड
wait, wait,
एवरीबody
wait.
Yeah,
कीप क्वाइट
lost it.
प्लीज
Jazim,
प्लीज डोंट
एक minute.
वन
मेरा
माइक
टर्न था, मेरा
वन
टर्न था.
माइक
hold on
वन माइक एट अ टाइम.
Wait.
दीक्षा
दीक्षा जी,
प्लीज गिव योर
हाँ,
Jazim,
rebuttal now.
give just 30 seconds to
yeah,
if any rebuttal, then we'll go to Jija and Ajay.
Me
जी,
too.
अभी जाजिम ने बोला था fertility rate remains the same. So fertility rate of a Muslim woman is 2.6 as compared to a Hindu, which is 2.2. Secondly, my point was not related to the fertility of the women of the Muslim community, but the economical burden which, uh, at the end of the day, a girl child has to face because she is one amongst 8, for which she might not have the chance of getting education and has higher chances of getting married early. So please conclude the right statement, not what you want to hear.
I want to respond to that, a quick response, if that's okay.
I'm going to speak now. Andolan ji.
Jizaji, he's been waiting
Yeah,
for.
it's been 2 hours, so I'm going to speak. Yes. So the question is polygamy the source of all social evil? Yes, I agree. And I would back it up with few points, and I would also bring in a research that was done. So first thing first, if you have multiple partners, multiple married partners, chances are you're going to have more children. More children brings more population. More population then brings lack of resources. Then, all the other things are connected with population. Pollution is connected. Green earth, it's connected with population. Increasing population is just going to be the biggest evil. Now, second thing I want to say is it's not just it's morally dodgy to allow polygamy, and it's inherently sexist as well. And there was a research done by let me just quickly check, Royal Society in 2012. A study in the journal Philosophical Transactions of Royal Society B found that across time, societies that permit polygamy have higher rates of violence, poverty, and gender inequality. Again, if you have multiple partners, you will be lacking the emotional connect with each one of them because you have something to substitute. And if there is an emotional disconnect, it will lead to violence, it will lead to gender inequality, and it will lead to all the other evils I mentioned before. Thank you, Andolanji, for the time. I rest my case here.
Am I allowed to speak now? So I just wanted to respond to the point Andolanji made towards the end, that, and everyone's common point is that, almost everybody's common point is that there is financial insecurity, and the point made by Jija towards the end, that it is found that these societies where polygamy exists are found poor later on. In that case, Arabs should be very poor, I guess. So the second point of the
They
I
financial
were.
didn't say poor.
instability.
No.
They were.
That is
Before the
something,
find of petrol,
Nawaz.
they were bloody in a ransacked state.
See,
No,
it's not.
but
Let's not go
I
back.
didn't
Let's
say
not go
poor.
back to that time. Let's just talk
Nawaz,
about the present time.
Uh,
I didn't
as
No,
mention
wait
money.
till
just
their
hold
oil
on one mic.
resources
All right, that was
are
my
off.
point. We can
Mods in
discuss.
control. Mods in control. Hold on, gentlemen. Okay, so as we have been repeating several times. We have stopped everybody from quoting scriptures or quoting history or geography. We are talking about the contemporary legal situation in India,
Exactly.
and that's where the entire discussion works.
All right.
Andolanji, I want to make some points.
Yeah, I was just going to make another point,
Yeah,
if
go
that's okay.
on.
What you said towards the end is that financial instability that
I didn't,
comes.
sir. You gotta listen. I didn't. I didn't mention finances
No,
and money.
no, no, no,
I
no, no. I'm
didn't.
not talking about you. I was responding to
Okay,
Andolan's
okay.
last point when he said that there is a financial burden on the family. I guess the logic should prevail first. If I am a man, I know how much of money I have and what I can do with this much of money. How would I even think of getting married to another woman when I'm not able to make ends for the first one?
Oh,
Nobody in his sense would do
this
that.
is the start of the chain of
If
social evils, Lavasaji. One, let me stop you over here. This is precisely the anti-woman mindset we are talking about over here. That a man would decide how many women he can afford. This leads
Exactly.
to the wrong and evil practice of meher, where women have now to put up a amount for themselves for getting
Meher
married.
is a gift, not
How
amount.
well,
how
No,
that's
how
no,
not an
that is
shameful
and
is
one more
no.
that?
thing, and one
It
more
is
thing
too
that you
much
said earlier that
Andolan.
that
This
a
is
woman sells
too much
herself,
intellectualism.
that a
This is
woman
too much
sells herself
intellectualism.
for meher.
It is
Sorry,
too much of
come
intellectual.
again.
That
It is getting into somebody's shoes. It is getting into somebody's shoes. If you, the law says today,
Oh, hold on, Kuldeep ji,
no,
it
no,
is not your
you
turn.
are,
I'll come
no,
to
no, no,
you.
no, 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 no,
Kuldeep
no.
ji, I'll come
It
to
is
you.
something. It is
Kuldeep
something
ji,
you are
if
doing.
you
It's a
won't
sin
let
that
the
you are doing.
if you won't let the mod, I'll let you speak.
You
We have
let it,
not
yeah,
stopped
let you
anybody
speak.
from speaking on the forum, but let your turn come. Lavasi, yeah, go ahead.
yes, and second thing that somebody said that the women sell themselves for meher. So meher, if on one side if somebody is talking about they don't get equal share from the father's property, and on the other side there is meher. Meher, first of all, now you're talking about the financial security of the woman. That is what meher is. She decides an amount and she doesn't get married unless and until she gets that amount. Now unfortunately, this thing is molded. This thing is molded as in the father or someone from the family will tell, okay, don't say much, say this much. Otherwise, it's the right of the woman. She decides an amount, and that amount is not to sell herself. That amount is to keep there for her security. If anything bad
The
happens
meaning.
tomorrow to that woman. Now this thing. Now, if I as a Muslim guy, if I am going to marry someone, I have
What's
to
the
give her the meher,
no?
right?
What's the meaning of nikah?
But,
Vijay,
but
let him finish.
Lavas,
Vijay,
I
let
want to
him
know.
finish. Let him
I
finish.
want to know
Nobody,
who said that.
hold on, guy.
Nobody said.
Jija, let him finish. I mean, we have enough time, right? Nobody is in
Yes,
a
yes.
hurry. Nobody has a flight to catch in this corona pandemic. So, neither is any brain surgeon or cardiac surgeon is here on the panel that, if they don't attend to patient for next 10, 15 minutes, their life gonna be lost. We have enough time. Let him finish. We'll come to it.
So meher, actually it is an amount for the security of the woman in these circumstances. When she has a good amount of meher, if her husband tells her tomorrow, I am going to marry someone else, she will definitely, she has legal rights to file a case against him. She can file a case against him. The best party, she can file the case against him with the same money she takes in the meher. So
Okay.
saying that meher is an amount women sell themselves for, that's absolutely wrong. Now, from the father's ancestral property, why doesn't she get the whole share? Why doesn't she get the equal share? There is a reason. Somebody is giving meher to her. Her brother has to give somebody the same meher tomorrow, and that amount is not decided. It's nowhere decided. There are no guidelines for that amount. The woman is going to decide. It's completely her discretion.
But Lavas, I want to know who said that. Nobody said in this panel that women sell for meher.
No, I
No, no.
did that.
Andolan
I
said
did
that.
that.
Andolan
I
said
did
that.
that. I
Okay,
did that.
Lafaz.
I'll
Okay,
justify that.
Lafaz.
Yeah.
What if
No,
a woman doesn't
hold on.
want to get
No,
married?
Fardin, 1 minute. When I state something, I don't
No, no. He
hide
should.
behind.
Andolan should say to all the IS officers who are from
Kuldeep,
Bihar,
Kuldeep,
who are
hold
from
on.
Bihar,
Kuldeep,
who are
hold
from
on.
Bihar. He
Kuldeep,
should say to
hold
all
on.
those things.
Kuldeep, it's not your
बस
turn.
कुलदीप
No,
जी
no.
क्या हो
Kuldeep,
गया
it's not your turn. Don't get excited. You
Don't
will
say
get
this
your
like this.
turn.
Go and tell Biharis.
So Dahej is a criminal activity. Her wife can go and file a case against him. Can you file a case for asking mayor? The answer to that is no.
No, don't use this logic. Go to jail. You
The
come
answer
convince
to
What
that
everybody.
kind
question
So
of
what
because
else
that is a
logic
logic,
to
sir?
use?
privilege. Because
What
that's a
else logic
privilege
to
to use
use?
a
Legal
woman.
protection,
What else logic to
legal
use?
protection has been provided, Kuldeep bhai.
So Meher,
Nikaha. What's
you
the
are
meaning of
dealing.
nikaha?
You are so intellect. You are
Kuldeep,
अरे
so
कुलदीप भाई
clever.
साहब
You
आप
are so
टर्न तो
clever.
आने
Okay,
दो.
moderators. So
You
you
are so
said this would
clever. You
not be
are
a
using
religious
uh,
legal.
debate,
You are
and now
using
when people are
constitution.
speaking on religion, you are
One
not
mic,
You are
stopping
one
using
them.
mic, one
constitution,
mic,
which
one
is
mic,
guarantees
one
the
mic.
constitution, and then
not
trying to
about that.
overturn it.
So tell me what's the meaning of nikaha. What's the meaning of
Acha,
nikaha? It's on
No
my
Virji,
screen.
एक
importance,
minute.
irrelevant.
Virji, it is not even your turn. So hold on, gentlemen, everybody, only the mods. Okay, so there's a
Use
we are
proper
going through a
vocabulary,
very
please.
Come on, Kuldeep
Kuldeep
ji,
ji,
please.
I will have to move you down if you will not wait for your turn. My apologies, sir. You have to be the decorum of the this debate. You have to maintain that. So let's go to this. Lavasa, have you finished your points?
Uh, yes, I guess I'm done.
Okay, okay.
And yes,
Gaurav, you wanted to say
just last
something?
point.
Yeah,
If my personal view on polygamy, I don't support polygamy.
fair point. I mean, ठीक है. Gaurav, over to you.
Kudos to you, Lara.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Andolanji. The thing is that there was previously a guy named Surendra made some allegations that the guys or the participants in the speakers panels, they have certain agenda or their association with certain individuals or certain Sikh groups actually makes this discussion very malicious. Now the thing is that if we don't discuss, who will? If you look at the case of 2018, there was a case of Nida Khan. She was triple talak and anti nikah halala crusader. She has fought her case in the Supreme Court. Now, what happened with her? The head of the Jama Masjid, the head of the Jama Masjid, Shiran Allah Hazrat, what he did, he issued the fatwa against her, ostracizing her from Islam, and also ensured that no one should give her food, no one should give water supply should be cut from
But
her
Gaurav,
house.
that's illegal, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah, that is the thing.
we are
So,
not talking about criminality of an individual case. We are
no,
talking
no.
about
My
what's a
point is,
legal.
my point is that, see, if we don't speak up, because if we don't speak up for the voiceless, for those who can speak for themselves, then the problem is that such things will happen more and more. And because see how certain voice, because when a woman is being ostracized from Islam, and then she has been totally sidelined and cornered from her community, the clerics are giving fatwas like her. Even a fatwa to cut her hair was also been issued with a some with a paltry amount, which also came up on Times of India. The thing is that a messaging is being done to the society that if you speak against such social evils, against such injustices, then you will have to face the same fate. So that is why we have to do this discussion, and that is why RSS or any kind of nationalist forces should come up, who are in that position, who are in that position of strength to speak up for such vulnerable sections of the society. That's my point. Thank you.
Thank you, Gaurav. Acha, who wants to go next can flash their mics.
Me, please.
Fardeen, you have spoken, so we'll prefer to have somebody who has not. So Ajay ji, it was Ajay ji's turn, and then we'll have to go to Kuldeep ji. Preeti ji
Thank
have
you.
also not spoken, so after Ajay ji, maybe Preeti ji and then Kuldeep ji. My mistake, I missed out Preeti ji.
Preeti ji, if you want to go first, I can wait.
I just have something to do.
Okay,
Please speak.
sure.
After that, I'll follow.
Sure. Thank you very much. I believe, Andolanji, you are absolutely dead right on your topic and assertion that polygamy is a root cause of all evils, or let's say many, many, many evils. Now, the problem with, if you've seen that there are certain people who are trying to defend polygamy, and we can already broadly see what mindsets, what ideology, what thought process they come from. They, in defense of polygamy, give such fake logics and try and say things which have no logical, reasonable, factual, and reality base in today's time and age. Now, when you see polygamy out of the context of a religion or a society or a culture. Let's talk about polygamy as such. By the sheer definition, this is a gray area between, let's say, two extreme of uh, polyandry and polygamy, or let's say polygamy and polyandry are the same side. On the other side, there is only one husband and spouse, at least at one time, or let's say for entire lifetime. Now, if you really compare that, for a society to grow and become a better, moral, healthier society, there is absolutely not even a single shred of doubt that the polygamy or polyandry structures do not entail well in a long term for any society. There was a gentleman who just wanted to defend this, and while defending, he said, "Oh, Arabs are so rich, right? They should have been poor if that's the case." No, they were absolutely poor till the time the oil was found, and you cannot uh, logically defend a bad practice by saying that they are rich, right? So if by that definition every rich person can be allowed to keep slaves, because if he is paying pretty well, he can afford so many slaves, and slaves would also love it, right? There might be people who are ready to become slaves also for money, or for wealth. But would you call it a good or moral practice? No, you will not. Would you call it good for the society? No, you will not. So by definition, when a happy, healthy, prosperous, morally, ethically right society you envision, you don't consider these uh, things in isolation, as if everybody is rich, that's a good society to have. If everybody is healthy, that's a good society to have. No, you have to keep a balance, and you have to ensure that all these parameters are trying, at least we try and achieve all these parameters so as to have a balanced, happy society. Now, I don't think anybody with a sane mind, or somebody who can think for himself or herself, would ever support uh, ghastly practice as a polygamy or polyandry. Yes, there might be cases, but the cases can be absolutely exceptions, and exceptions does prove the rule. So my take on this is absolutely simple. What Jija also said, that when you see a society, different parameters, in terms of what he tried to link it is as a population growth in a polygamy society, and we all know that's one of the serious side effect of any polygamy society. So there is obviously n number of evils which are already associated with a higher population growth rate, right? May it be ecology, economy, or any welfare, healthcare, everything. Biologically also, it is not advisable to have too many offsprings from same set of parents, right? So that means wider the range of a sample, better biologically it is good for the entire world, or the entire population for that matter, right? That's biological fact. You cannot try and defend it. You may say, oh, no, 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 there is one person, one is common, but at least one is common. So if it's a n to n, that's the best possible permutation combination. Now come to the social structure part of it. As Jija again very clearly pointed out, that if you don't have a long term relationship with any single person, uh, that is, you have a substitution, you can easily go from one person to another person. We have seriously seen the implications of that society. You see that higher crime rates are very and suicide rates are also very high in those societies. Stress rates are very high in societies where there are single parent kids are available, or in a larger house where there are a lot of uh, pent up anger and frustration is there because favoritism to a specific set of kids, because the father wants to favor that specific woman or kids from other specific woman. Rest of the kids would absolutely go under a very different mindset. So uh, this is, I guess, no brainer. But the problem you would see, and the only people you would actually find trying defend it would be the people who are suffering from the same disease. The mindset needs to change now. We are entering into a society where either you, if you say, I guess somebody was trying to defend polygamy, saying, "Oh no, the man can, if he has money, he or she can, he can decide he can marry
No,
next
no,
or
no,
how
no.
many women."
That was me, and I never tried to defend polygamy. I was
No, no,
just
no. You
I was
said
just
it
quoting
is
an
up to the
example. I was just quoting an example
correct,
related to
correct.
marriage.
Wait, agreed. So I refrain from saying that you were defending polygamy, but it sounded like that. But let's say you said that a man has a right to decide based on his financial position that when can he have a second wife or third wife. Similarly, would you also be happy that a woman, let's say you married second time your first woman or your second woman itself, then say, okay, I want to have three more husbands, and then out of those husbands they say you want to have three more wives. So would you be happy, and do you see the complication in the society? But as a matter of egalitarian society, we need to actually have equal opportunity to everyone. So if a man can decide based on his status, then you have to give the same right to women as well. I have no qualms about it, right?
True, if it
So
that's what I said. If it is that way, it should work from all the sides, right?
but yes,
But
but yeah, no,
it
no, wait,
but
wait,
my
wait, wait.
point was not that man has a
Agreed,
right
agreed,
because he
agreed.
has
I'm
money.
saying
No, I said man has brain which he can use. That's what I said. I never said he has right.
no, it's not about brain. You cannot leave it to everybody's brain. There are
No,
basic.
it is not even about a man also. No, it is about a Muslim man. That is what you are missing.
Can I put
Okay,
a
no, no.
You are you
Yeah,
are
yeah.
trying you are trying to put
हाँ,
something
कुलदीप जी
and
आपका
then
नंबर
trying
बस
to
इसके बाद है। अजय
Kuldeep
जी
ji,
कंक्लूड के बाद आप ही का
Kuldeep
नंबर
ji,
है, आप बोल
let
लीजिएगा।
me
हाँ।
let me tell you one thing very clearly. If I say that there are certain monkeys who are trying to do a silly stuff, and they try and uh, steal stuff from people, right? And that's a very bad behavior. And you should similarly jump up and say, "Oh no, you cannot say anything
you are
about my
using
cat."
logic instead, sir. You are not knowing what you are talking about.
Arey, let him finish, na. Why you keep butting in for no damn
Yeah,
reason?
and Kuldeep ji, do you have such an affinity towards a one specific section?
No,
I
no,
don't
no, no.
know,
I am not
because
saying
I
that. I am
clearly
saying
stated
that you are
you are
extending
trying to defend
extending
Islam.
you are extending your
अच्छा,
observations, your
मैं लेट दी
opinions on
मॉड
something
कम
which
इन।
is state.
अजय जी, आई थिंक
No, I never.
अजय जी, मेरे ख्याल से
Yeah,
आपका
I said
आपका
my point.
कंक्लूजन हो गया। आप वो एक
Yeah,
वन ऑन वन ना करिए, आप
yeah,
कंक्लूड कर लीजिए, फिर कुलदीप जी के पास जाते हैं।
okay. I'll in 10 seconds I'll do that. So as I'm saying that for a informed and egalitarian society, polygamy should be absolutely no. There cannot be a society. We deliberately push society towards, a root cause of many evils. So I am for the topic that yes, polygamy is the root cause of many evils.
Andolan ji, I sent you a link on back channel if you can check it out.
हाँ, मैं भी चेक कर लेता हूँ। अब कुलदीप जी आप अपना व्यू पॉइंट रख लीजिए।
थैंक यू, आपने दिया। So, यहाँ पे हम ये मिस कर रहे हैं कि 90% of the population, 99% of the population is not polygamous. हम ये भी मिस कर रहे हैं कि हमारे पास स्टेट है और स्टेट पे हमने कुछ राइट्स दिए हैं सभी को, और हम जनरली यूज कर रहे हैं मैन और वुमन। पॉलीगामी अगर है, दैट इज अ सब्जेक्ट ऑफ मुस्लिम पर्सनल लॉ, और मुस्लिम पर्सनल लॉ हैज राइट टू प्रैक्टिस इट द वे दे हैव टू प्रैक्टिस इट। एंड इफ वी anybody state comes and tries to reform that, he or she is getting into the internal matters of somebody. They have no right. They have no right to do that. If there's a reform that has to come from those people who are allowed to practice the way they are practicing. So if a third party comes from outside to tell us that how we have to practice, that is actually you are crossing your boundary. You are trying to build up a narrative. Talking about polygamy in Islam, or as it's been practiced, is similarly saying that somebody is actually, getting into your own bedroom. The way you will not allow it, same way they will not allow it. That is one point. No matter what cozy explanations you come up with, sweet these things. And what my problem is, what my sorrow is, those people who have brought this country to its present terms, and those who have their leaders in one name, which they chant day in and day out, that's the product of polygamy. Four mothers. All those people who talk
अच्छा
of
कुलदीप जी,
oneness. Listen,
यहाँ पे
complete. Let me
मैंने
complete.
हिस्टोरिकल एक सेकंड कुलदीप एक
Let
सेकंड
me
रुक
complete,
जाइए.
sir. I am not.
नहीं, there's a reason I'm
No,
stopping
no.
you
You
because
get
I've stopped
defended.
everyone.
You come into defense.
Hold on,
This tells about
कुलदीप
your
जी,
weakness, sir.
कुलदीप जी,
Yes,
कुलदीप
okay.
जी,
You can carry on.
कुलदीप जी एक सेकंड. देखिए यहाँ पे मैंने हिस्टोरिकल रेफरेंस पे जाने
I have
को
not given any historical
सबको
references.
नहीं, अभी आपने एक बड़ा ही
No,
एक
no. I have
हिस्टोरिकल
not given.
रेफरेंस
I have
दिया.
said
हिस्ट्री पे
what
भी
I have
बात
said.
कर लेंगे
हाँ,
अगर ये
हिस्ट्री.
चाहते हैं तो.
नहीं
नो
नहीं
वरी,
नहीं नहीं
नो
नहीं
वरी.
नहीं नहीं
You,
लेट
no, no.
लेट
You have
लेट
said
एक
it is
सेकंड कुलदीप जी,
power. It is power.
कुलदीप
It is
जी,
power.
कुलदीप
Yes.
जी एक सेकंड. कुलदीप जी, वी आर टॉकिंग. आपने अभी अभी एक हिस्टोरिकल एस्पेक्ट का रेफरेंस दिया. हम लोग करंट लीगल स्ट्रक्चर की बात कर रहे हैं, उस पे बात करिए.
Current legal
इसको
is
भड़काऊ बनाने
that
की
you are
इसको
yeah.
भड़काऊ
You are
बनाने की
creating
कोशिश ना करिए.
a sin.
हाँ.
You are breaking the law by discussing this. That is current
हाँ.
legal status. Yes. You
हाँ.
should be
तो
booked.
आप
Yeah. You should be
ओके.
booked. FIR should be
What
lodged.
kind
Now
of
that's
idiot?
ठीक है अजय
something.
जी,
What kind of
there
an
are
idiot?
mods to take care of
Is
it.
there
कुलदीप जी
any
आपकी बात
freedom of
कंप्लीट कर
speech
लीजिए.
or
You may
expression?
not like it. You are
ठीक
discussing
है,
something.
I
ठीक है.
think he has not read Article 19 Clause 1.
No.
Therefore,
नहीं,
he's
बॉस जी,
speaking.
Once it's a
it's okay.
Muslim.
Let him complete.
I don't think. I don't see
The
here
all the
any Hindu. I don't
all the
see any
people
Hindu.
wants to hear. People want to hear
Yeah.
him.
I don't see
Go
any
ahead,
Hindu
कुलदीप
here
जी.
who
हाँ.
is polygamous and who is actually. I don't see here a son who is a second son or stepson, or a daughter who's a stepson, and then she or he fighting. I don't see. It is linked, directed to something which is guaranteed in the constitution. So if somebody says that I have right to discuss about that, he is breaking that
सर
oath
आप जो
that is
बोल रहे
there.
हो आपके अपने कानों में जा रहा है वो?
जीजा
Yes.
जी एक सेकंड. I am the mod and Born is the mod.
Yeah, you
Let
can
him,
discuss
if
it. You can
intervention
put
is
it down
required,
there.
I would do that. Let him finish. Yeah.
What will
So
you
बोलिए.
can't?
if
Vish ji, let him finish.
yeah,
Let him finish. It's okay.
so polygamy
हाँ,
as
बोलिए
such
सर.
as is being practiced in India, by Hindus by not declaring it, by Muslims who are allowed to do it by their law. If there is any reform, that has to be come from within, because they have to change Sharia. So it is a reform within the people who are practicing it, and not to the us who are this thing. I can close one statement and then I can close. A well-fed man has no business talking about hungry. It is what you are discussing here is what politicians do. Exactly, no difference. You may not like it, but this is what it is.
So next
Okay.
time,
अच्छा जी,
only just a second, just a comment. So next time we can only have poor people trying to remove poverty. A rich man should not even discuss
Yes,
how
yes,
to.
yes, yes. If you are really
Yeah,
serious,
yeah.
honest,
People with
Okay.
factual, yes.
Okay. We took your point. कुलदीप जी एक सेकंड. जीजा एक सेकंड. भाई एक सेकंड एंजॉय. विश जी आप भी एक मिनट रुक जाइए. हम उनसे पूछ लें. Have you concluded कुलदीप जी, or do
Yeah, I
you
have
want any other
concluded.
points to be made? Okay, ठीक है. So I hope fair opportunity was given to you to speak. जैसा कि कुलदीप जी ने कहा कि ये उनके पर्सनल मैटर है. हमारे देश की 10% आबादी जो मुस्लिम महिलाएं हैं, अगर वो एम्पावर नहीं हो पा रही हैं तो उसको हम लोगों को वैसे ही छोड़ देना चाहिए. बोलना भी नहीं चाहिए, बात भी नहीं करनी चाहिए जब तक उनके रिलीजन के मर्द अलाउ ना करें उनको एम्पावर होने के लिए. कुलदीप जी ऐसा होता नहीं है. आप जो बात कह रहे हैं कि पर्सनल बेडरूम में क्या हो रहा है किसी को संज्ञान लेने की जरूरत नहीं है, ये आपकी बात से मैं एग्री करता हूं। लेकिन जो अधिकार आज की डेट में हिंदुस्तान की हिंदू महिला, सिख महिला, बौद्ध महिला के पास है, वो अधिकार इस देश की हर महिला के पास होना चाहिए। इसके लिए मैं तो एटलीस्ट वॉइस करता रहूंगा, क्योंकि अगर बीबी अपने पति को या पति अपनी बीबी को दूसरे के साथ सेक्सुअल रिलेशन बनाना अलाउ भी करना चाहती है, नहीं चाहती है, दैट इज इंटायरली अप टू द बॉन्ड्स ऑफ bedroom. But does she has or does not has the right to stop her husband from spoiling her financial future as well as her kids and the next generation financial future is the authority that should be handed to Muslim women as well. ये केवल बेडरूम का डिस्कशन नहीं हो रहा है यहाँ कुलदीप जी।
सर
It's
how
something
you are a
कुलदीप जी
legal guy,
कुलदीप जी
you are a
मैंने आपसे
legal guy,
एक
as long
सेकंड
as
मैंने
she is
आपसे
in
मैंने
Sharia,
आपको
as
पूरा
long
मैं
as she
आपको
is in
फिर
Sharia,
मौका
what
होल्ड सेकंड एक सेकंड
ये
कुलदीप
एक
जी,
एक्सप्रेशन हो
मैंने
सकती
आपको
है।
पूरा मौका दिया, मुझे मेरी बात खत्म कर देने दीजिए। ये बेडरूम का मैटर नहीं है। जब एक मुस्लिम महिला का पति, और उस मुस्लिम महिला की स्थिति आप समझिए जिसके 2 छोटे बच्चे भी हैं, वो आज से 20 साल पहले एग्री करी हुई मेहर के 20,000 रुपए पकड़ा के दूसरी महिला से निकाह करके ले आता है, और उस महिला के पास अपना और अपने बच्चों को फाइनेंशियल फ्यूचर सिक्योर करने का कोई
You are
लीगल
creating
ऑप्शन
a
नहीं।
scene, sir. You are
कुलदीप
creating a
आप
scene.
मुझे बात नहीं करने दे
You are
रहे
creating
कुलदीप
a
जी,
scene here.
आप मुझे
नहीं
बात
ये
नहीं करने
अच्छी
दे रहे
बात नहीं
कुलदीप
है।
जी।
You are
मैंने आपको
continue
पूरी
to
बात करने
कुलदीप
दीजिए।
जी मोड डेकोरम
कुलदीप जी
मेंटेन करें,
मैंने
डेकोरम
आपको
मेंटेन
बात
करिए,
आप सर
मोड
डेकोरेट
बोल रहे
मेंटेन
हैं
करिए सर।
कुलदीप।
no
कुलदीप जी
आंदोलन
आप
भी
मुझे बात
आंदोलन भी
करने
law
दीजिए
versus
सर।
law. This is
कुलदीप जी मैं
personal
आंदोलन
versus law
कुलदीप
versus
आंदोलन भी आप
law.
शांत रहिए। कुलदीप जी
हाँ
कुलदीप जी
एक
मोड
सेकंड
बोल रहे
दुखा
हैं।
मैं
दुखा दुखा moral
कुलदीप
दुखा
जी
Andolan ji,
मुझे
put him down and
मुझे आपको
then
नीचे
bring
करना
him up
पड़ेगा।
after.
मैं आपको थोड़ी देर के लिए नीचे कर रहा हूँ, फिर ऊपर ले लूंगा।
कर दिया
हाँ तो मैं बस अपना पॉइंट कंप्लीट कर लूँ। ये भाई साहब ये केवल ये बेडरूम और बॉयफ्रेंड गर्लफ्रेंड का रिलेशनशिप नहीं होता, ये फैमिली मैटर्स, ये पूरी जनरेशन के भविष्य का होता है। ये जो अभी हमें कोई बता रहा था, मेहर जो होती है गिफ्ट होती है, ये 17 साल की लड़की जिस समय विवाह कर रही होती है, जिसने 1980 में विवाह करा था, जिसने 5,000 रुपए रकम रखी थी मेहर की, जिसने 30 साल मैरिज में डेडिकेट करे थे, जिसने अपने पति और उसके परिवार की मदद कर करके घरों के उसके घर की सारी जिम्मेदारियां अपने सर पे लेते हुए पति की मदद करी, जो आज पति जो 1980 में 3,000 रुपए महीना कमाता था, आज 4 लाख रुपए महीना कमा रहा है। उसको आप 5,000 रुपए मेहर दे के किनारे कर दो और दूसरी बीबी लेके आ जाओ। उस औरत का, उसके बच्चों का पूरा फाइनेंशियल फ्यूचर कुएं में डाल दो। उसके अगेंस्ट उसके पास एक सेकंड लवाची एक सेकंड रुक जाइए। लवाची होल्ड ऑन। आप लोग इतना मतलब इम्पेशंस क्यों है सर? मैं बोलने के लिए किसी को मैंने रोका क्या? मैंने किसी को बोलने से रोका क्या इस फोरम पे? आज उस महिला को इतना लीगल राइट भी ना हो कि वो अपना और अपने बच्चों का फाइनेंशियल फ्यूचर सिक्योर करने के लिए पॉलीगैमी जैसे सोशल ईवल को काउंटर करने के लिए एक लीगल एप्लीकेशन ना फाइल कर सके। जो आज से 20 साल पहले तय हुई मेहर की रकम, जो आज इन्फ्लेशन एडजस्टेड भी नहीं होती है, आज के पति की फाइनेंशियल स्थिति से कोई मैच नहीं करती है, उसको आप बात कर रहे हो इंपावरिंग। इंपावरिंग वो होता है तो जो आज की फाइनेंशियल स्टेटस है वो पति ने अकेले नहीं बनाई होती है। एक परिवार में जब मैं काम करने बाहर जाता हूं, मेरी बीवी का भी उतना ही योगदान रहता है मेरी सक्सेस में। आधा पे उसका हक है। अगर वो हक उसको नहीं मिल रहा है तो उसके साथ गलत हो रहा है। ये बात कौन करेगा? और हम उस बात को उठाएंगे तो आप कहोगे नहीं, वो एक रिलीजन की चादर से ढके हुए सोशल इवल्स हैं, आप उस पर कमेंट भी नहीं कर सकते। मुझे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अधिकार आप बताएंगे कि मैं अपने देश की महिलाओं के बारे में कुछ बात नहीं कर सकता हूं? हाईली हिपोक्रेटिकल. Let's continue with the discussion.
I
आंदो
need
जी कैन आई
3
से
seconds.
हाँ,
आंदो जी
वेद
कैन आई
जी,
से
Wait,
एक दो
या
चीजें
वेद जी,
wait,
आप बोल
wait.
लीजिए. हाँ.
I need 3 seconds. 3 seconds only. 3 seconds. Wait. 3 seconds. कुलदीप जी मेरे को तुम्हारी बात बिल्कुल नहीं पसंद आई आथू.
नहीं, इस तरीके का हम लोग डिबेट नहीं करते.
नहीं यार,
हाँ,
कैन
हाँ.
आई से
हम
समथिंग
Let's not.
आंदो जी
हाँ, हाँ.
करोगे प्लीज.
आंदो जी कैन आई
जी,
आंदो जी
जी,
कैन आई
जी
से
मैम.
समथिंग the blatant misogyny that कुलदीप just showed on the stage is very clear. तो उनका बस ये है कि अभी भी औरतें औरतें बोलना भी नहीं चाहिए sorry पाप my bad he's saying sin me calling a woman is औरत is a sin sorry my bad. तो महिलाएं मतलब आज भी वो 7 centuries की लॉज में बंधी रहे उनकी उनके हस्बैंड की चार बीवी हो उससे 20-20 बच्चे पैदा हो ये वही चाहते हैं उनका वही हाल एंड जहां तक इनकी बात है तो मैं थोड़ी सी पर्सनली बता देती हूँ मेरे घर के राइट ऑपोजिट में एक मुस्लिम औरत रहती है जिसके हस्बैंड की 4 बीवियां हैं वो बच्चा रोते रोते लाइक रोज रोता है कि अब्बू कहाँ है अब माँ तो नहीं बता सकती ना अब्बू कहाँ है 3 साल के बच्चे को रहते अलग अलग घर में हैं, क्योंकि एक घर के अंदर छत के अंदर रह नहीं सकते 4 बीवियां मतलब एंड दिस कुलदीप गाय हैज द गमशम्स टू कम एंड डिफेंड हियर एंड जहां तक ये बोल रहा आर्टिकल अंडर द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन आर्टिकल 19 का बड़ा हवाला देते हो राइट टू प्रैक्टिस वॉट एवर टीच तो उसमें एक सब क्लॉज क्यों भूल जाते हो आप कि महिलाएं और बच्चों के लिए कोई भी कानून बन सकता है वेदर वो रिलीजन का वायलेशन करता हो या ना करता हो डजेंट मैटर व्हेन इट कम्स टू women एंड चिल्ड्रंस राइट any religious right will take over it. So ये Kuldeep, I don't know what nonsense he's coming and saying that he'll file
Let's
some
not
case
make it
against you.
practice. Let's
Let him
not
do
make it
that.
personal. But just for the
Okay, one more thing.
just
One more.
Ajay ji,
Andolan ji,
just one second.
Andolan ji, one thing I want to add. The freedom to practice religion also comes with a rider of morality, ethics, social order. It does not come get you a guarantee that you can use anything which is immoral, illegal, or create social problem in 50% of the society. Thank you.
जी. अच्छा, ये एक बहुत बड़ा मिसकॉन्सेप्शन है. और आप लोग अगर सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जजमेंट्स पढ़ेंगे तो ये जो आर्टिकल 25 टू 29 में रिलीजियस फ्रीडम की बात करी जाती है इसमें उन रिलीजियस एस्पेक्ट्स की बात करी जाती है जो कोर हो उस रिलीजन का, जिसको अगर हटा दिया जाए तो रिलीजन क्रम्बल कर जाएगा. क्या 4 शादियां हटा देने से कोई रिलीजन क्रम्बल कर जाएगा?
आंदोलन जी एक पॉइंट इसमें ये
क्या
है ना,
एक सेकंड बस बॉन जी, क्या मेहर की रॉन्ग प्रैक्टिस हटा देने से कोई रिलीजन क्रम्बल कर जाएगा? Religion is your connect with God. Supreme Court has stated in so many different judgments. How is marriage your connect with God? It is a social practice. It is not religion.
या प्रॉब्लम ये है ना कि जो माइनॉरिटीज के इंस्टीट्यूशन सेटअप है वो खुद जो है, अगर हम आर्टिकल 25 से लेके 30 तक की अगर हम बात करते हैं, चलो 25 को डिस इंक्लूड कर देते हैं, कल्चरल और एजुकेशनल राइट की भी अगर बात कर रहे हो आप, तो ये खुद जो है प्रियम्बल के साथ कॉन्ट्राडिक्ट कर रहे हैं. तो आप इतना हवाला मत दीजिए चीजों का. ठीक है, फंडामेंटल राइट जैसे कुलदीप जी ने कहा कि अगर हम सीन क्रिएट कर रहे हैं तो सर फंडामेंटल राइट आप हमारा भी इन्फ्रिंज कर रहे हो. आर्टिकल 19 क्लोज 1 क्लोज है. सो प्लीज गो एंड चेक दैट. और आप हमें धमकी मत दीजिए कि आप
नहीं
लीगल
चलिए, वो नहीं, लेट्स नॉट मेक इट पर्सनल. ठीक है, उनका अपना व्यू पॉइंट था. प्रीति जी उस समय आप नहीं बोल पाई थी. अगर कोई और भी बोलना चाहे तो माइक फ्लैश कर दे. प्रीति जी, इफ यू वांट टू से समथिंग एंड देन वील गो टू प्रवीण जी.
हाँ जी, थैंक यू मुझे चांस
थोड़ा सा अगर आप लाउड बोल दे प्रीति जी, आवाज थोड़ी कम आ रही है.
हाँ जी, अभी ठीक है.
ऑडिबल, बट इट कुड बी बेटर.
ओके. Okay, I won't touch any religion. I won't say it is good or bad because I feel a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. आप कितना भी किसी को समझाएं, जो उनके views होंगे, उनके opinion होंगे, it's very hard to change that. तो मैं change नहीं करना चाहती. What I want to say, अपने pros and cons हैं. चाहिए तो वी ऑल अवेयर माइंड्स, सबको पता होगा क्या इसके एडवांटेज डिसएडवांटेज है. गूगल चाचा भी है बताने के लिए. व्हाट आई वांट टू से कि किसी चीज की अति खराब है तो ईच पर्सन हिज ओन, हमको सबको पता है किसमें क्या प्रॉब्लम है। तो आई थिंक वी शुड टेक इट दैट वे। हम एक ही पहलू लेके बैठे हैं और उस पर बहस करें, इट्स नॉट डन। वी हैव टू सी बोथ व्यूज कि कहाँ पे ये चीज सक्सेसफुल है, कहाँ पे इट इज हिंडरिंग द सोसाइटी। एंड एज फार एज रिलीजन इज कंसर्न्ड, आई जस्ट डोंट बिलीव इन इट। मैं हिंदू हूँ तो क्या हुआ, अगर एक मुस्लिम फैमिली में कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स है तो it is my fundamental right to go in, intervene and see if I can help with it. तो दैट इज व्हाट आई फील, रिलीजन बीच में नहीं आना चाहिए। एंड ये मेरी अपनी लाइफ है, मैं दूसरों की लाइफ में क्या करूं, दैट इज ऑल्सो नॉट डन। सो दैट्स माई फील। आपको लग रहा है रॉन्ग, लग रहा है, आई विल नॉट फाइट, आई विल नॉट आर्ग्यू, बिकॉज ठीक है ना, वो आपके ओपिनियन है। तो मैं ये भी नहीं बोल सकती आई एम फेवरिंग इट और आई एम अगेंस्ट इट। आई कैन वेरी वेल सी क्या इसके प्रोन्स एंड कॉन्स हैं, एंड आई डोंट फील द नीड टू आर्ग्यू। बट येस, अगर उसके कुछ एडवांटेजेस हैं या डिसएडवांटेजेस हैं जिससे कोई सफर कर रहा है, आई विल बी देयर एंड स्टैंडिंग फॉर देम।
जी, पर प्रीति जी, हम लोगों ने देखा इन द पास्ट कि जब हम लॉ बनाते हैं तो व्हाट यू आर सेइंग इज राइट दैट
Andoji, can you
सोशल।
pin that link that I sent you if it's all right? That link
अच्छा,
actually,
मैं पिन
yeah,
कर देता हूँ मैम।
please pin that.
तो जैसे मैं दूसरा एग्जांपल आपको दूंगा कि चाइल्ड मैरिजेस, राइट, जब से उसके अगेंस्ट में लॉ बना, देयर वी हैव सीन सीरियस डिक्लाइन इन चाइल्ड मैरिजेस, राइट। सो सोशल ईवल को जब हम रिकग्नाइज कर लेते हैं कि ये सोशल ईवल है और उसको खत्म करने के लिए लीगल और पॉलिसी फ्रेमवर्क बनाते हैं, it does shows impact on society as well. So it works both ways.
जी, आई अग्री, आई अग्री। किसी चीज में आपको खराबी दिख रही है या कोई चीज सोसाइटी के लिए हिंड्रेंस हो रही है, हार्मफुल हो रही है, लोगों के लिए कुछ है उसमें गलत, तो देयर शुड बी अ स्टैंड, बी इट लीगल, बी इट पर्सनल। yes, we should raise voice against it. Child marriage to, even I don't favor that. I'm not saying everybody agree with me, but I don't favor, that's it, period.
जी, उसके बाद
आंदोलन
प्रवीण जी। हाँ, अमित जी, आप कुछ कहना चाह रहे थे?
हाँ, मैं एक्चुअली पॉलीगेमी की जो बात चल रही है ना, उसी को थोड़ा सा उसी के आसपास ही एक बात रख रहा हूँ, एक इंसिडेंट भी शेयर करता जा रहा हूँ बहुत क्विकली। एक बार महिला थाने में मैं उस काम से गया था, तो एम कम्युनिटी के लोग आए हुए थे, लड़का और लड़की। लड़की ने कंप्लेन किया था कि लड़का उसका शोषण कर रहा है, हैरेसमेंट कर रहा है, इवन दे आर इन लव, वो रिलेशनशिप में कुछ थे समथिंग। महिला थाने में बुलाते हैं, तब लड़के ने क्या बोला कि ये डाइवोर्सी है, उसका जो भी रहा होगा मटेरियल स्टेटस, ये डाइवोर्सी है। प्रॉब्लम वहाँ पे ये था कि लड़का क्या कर रहा था कि वो डाइवोर्सी थी, उसको यूज कर रहा था समथिंग, मैं अगर इसको थोड़ा हार्श वर्ड में बोल रहा हूँ, लेकिन वो उस रिलेशनशिप में आगे नहीं बढ़ रहा था और लड़की चाहती थी इसको आगे लेके जाए, और दे आर फ्रॉम एम कम्युनिटी।
ठीक है, मतलब वी
इम्पोर्टेंट
कांट टेक इंडिविजुअल
हाँ,
केसेस टू बी
मैं यहाँ पे बात वो नहीं कर
हाँ,
रहा हूँ, मैं बात वो कर रहा हूँ, एक मिनट। मैं कंक्लूजन क्या था वहाँ पे, इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट ये थी, जो चीज मैंने चूंकि वहाँ फील किया, देखा मैंने, कि अगर एम कम्युनिटी की महिलाएं उतनी एम्पावर नहीं है, जब हम बात कर रहे हैं पॉलीगेमी पे, लीगल की बात करें, मैं थोड़ा सॉल्यूशन पे जा रहा हूँ। अगर जैसे लीगल बाल विवाह पे बना, अच्छा असर आया, इवन अगर ये हम लीगल में भी जाते हैं तो उसका इम्पैक्ट कितना होगा, फ्रूटफुल कितना होगा, अनलेस अंटिल ये सोसाइटी, उनकी खुद की सोसाइटी में से चेंज ना हो। मैं ये पॉइंट रख रहा था, अवेयरनेस वहां पे आनी जरूरी है, ये मेरा पॉइंट था।
जी जी। अच्छा, जस्ट फॉर a hygiene announcement, the replays of this room are on, so if anybody has missed the initial part of the discussion, this would be available on my club, and you can listen to the entire conversation subsequently as well. With that, I think Praveen ji was flashing the mic earlier. Praveen ji, over to you.
या पॉलीगैमी का एक इशू जो बनाया गया है इस्लामिक मुफ्ती या मौलवियों की तरफ से, उसका अभी जो नैरेटिव दिया जाता है वो है कि डिज़ायर ज़्यादा होता है आदमी की, सेक्सुअल डिज़ायर ज़्यादा होती है कंपैरेटिव टू अ वुमेन और अ गर्ल, व्हाटएवर इट इज़। सो ये जो नैरेटिव बनाया है, आज भी जो बनाया है इस मॉडर्न सोसाइटी या मतलब साइंस के बाद, जो जस्टिफाई नहीं करता है उनके जो नैरेटिव है इस चीज को। या दैट शुड बी, आई मीन, प्रॉपरली, मतलब जिसको कि हाईलाइट किया जाना चाहिए कि उनका नैरेटिव क्या है, उनका थॉट प्रोसेस क्या है, और आज के मॉडर्न सोसाइटी के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से। थैंक यू।
जी। Ajay, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, just a small point. Praveen ji, again, as Andolan ji also said right in the beginning also, that the idea today is not to discuss community. Kuldeep ji was trying to make it about one religion, and you have also pointed out one religion. But the problem is beyond religion, right? So what we are discussing is this practice. And as Andolan ji again said, that Supreme Court has said again and again that any practice which is not the core of a religion, it's a social practice, has to stand on the parameter of morality. And if it fails that, and equality, and if it fails that, obviously it needs to go. So similarly, there are many other excuses given, as you rightly pointed out, that in today's science, the concept of or putting somebody is plainly simple, that okay, no, for the progeny I need to take this, or the for my sexual desires are higher. If I, let's say, there can be a person who can prove in court that my sexual desires are much higher than my wife, would it give him what you call a right to have a second wife or third wife or fifth wife or whatever,
Or vice
right?
versa?
Yeah, or vice versa. No, we were discussing polygamy. That's why I was just discussing polygamy. So that would have been polyandry otherwise. So
I guess that
what I'm saying is that no amount of logic can actually make any inhuman practice which puts a very large portion of society at risk of being misused, abused, and suppressed, need to really be looked at. And we, as a society, we need to now decide that we need to go away from these practices. So irrespective of, I am repeating, irrespective of any caste, religion, creed, or culture or society, the idea is to go towards a better, high moral society, highly ethical society, step by step. We cannot change the entire society at once, but at least we can try to keep improving.
this statement that somebody has made, even if it's Mufti or anybody, that men have more sexual desires than women, that's absolute nonsense. Second thing, even if it's that way, why do you have to keep that wife still there who's not able to satisfy you sexually? Why don't you get married to someone and divorce her? Or she can do the same if she feels that way. Polygamy there is not the way out.
Yeah. So Robert has joined us. Robert or Abhishek, you wanted to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah, Naranji. Uh, just a brief point. I mean, any social practice or social thing. Some speakers, someone said कि if an individual wants to do it and it's their individual choice or it's a family choice or a bedroom choice. सो सर इन दैट मैटर, तो फिर अगर घर को कुछ प्रॉब्लम होती है एंड आप कोर्ट के पास जाते हो या सोसाइटी में डिस्कस करते हो कि व्हाट टू डू, तो अगर आपको सोसाइटी और कोर्ट भी यही बोल दे कि इट्स योर इंडिविजुअल चॉइस, इट्स योर फैमिली चॉइस, आपने जो भी करा आप अपने कॉजेस को अपने अपने सब क्या बोलते हैं आपको, जो भी रिजल्ट्स आए हैं उसको आप खुद ही डील करो, तो सर फिर सोसाइटी का स्ट्रक्चर क्या रहेगा? सो इट्स वेरी इजी टू से. मेन पॉइंट विच आई थिंक रिगार्डिंग पॉलीगैमी, प्रॉब्लम ये है कि आप वी आइदर यूज इट एज अ political tool or agenda or religious agenda and all these things, but overall polygamy को अगर आप देखो तो it's basically it can be separated into three part. एक हमारा ट्रेडिशनल सोसाइटल कल्चर होता है, दूसरा इंडिविजुअलिटी होती है, इंडिविजुअल चॉइस, और तीसरा होता है आपका लीगल या फिर जो लॉ फ्रेम में जो भी बातें आती हैं. तो हम तीनों एस्पेक्ट को एक साथ चेक करें. फॉर एग्जांपल कुछ लोग बोलेंगे इट्स पर्टिकुलर टू कम्युनिटी, सारे कम्युनिटी में आपको एक दो एग्जांपल, किसी में ज्यादा कम मिल जाएंगे बट सारे में मिल सकते हैं. इट्स रिलेटेड टू पर्टिकुलर सेक्ट और पर्टिकुलर फाइनेंशियली वेल टू डू फैमिलीज, आपको लोअर एंड सेमी मतलब पुअर्स एंड बिलो पॉवर्टी लाइन भी मिल जाएंगे. तो दैट इज completely lame to just to divert ki what exactly the seriousness of this topic is. Back to individuality, सो द मेन थिंग इज हमारी कंट्री में सोसाइटी में एक ऑलरेडी एक फ्रेमवर्क चल रहा था. If there are something which obviously needs to evolve over the period of time, जैसे जैसे कल्चर या कम्युनिटी या सोसाइटी आगे बढ़ती है, but the problem is we are trying to build a we are not trying to build a separate social framework or social structure. हम अपने existing social structure में ही तोड़फोड़ कर रहे हैं, which is slightly unfair to do. अगर आपके पास एक बाईसाइकिल है, आपको अगर बाइक खरीदनी है तो आप बाईसाइकिल हटा के बाइक खरीद लो, बट उसके लिए भी आप कुछ समय के लिए दोनों रखते हो, बाइक भी बाईसाइकिल भी, जब तक आप बाइक पे यूज टू नहीं होते. प्रॉब्लम है हमारे पास बाइक नहीं और हम बाईसाइकिल को तोड़ के फेंकना चाह रहे हैं, तो फिर आप कुछ भी नहीं कर पाओगे, आप कम्यूट भी नहीं कर पाओगे. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, सपोज अगर किसी ने बोला कि ठीक है पॉलीगैमी गुड और बैड, द रीजन इज व्हाई अ पर्सन वांट्स टू गो इनटू दिस मोड, आइदर मेल और फीमेल. देयर उसको अगर आप 5 लेवल में स्प्लिट करके स्टार्ट करो क्वेश्चन करना, खुद से करो, इरेस्पेक्टिव कोई आपको पॉइंट आउट करे या नेम कॉलिंग करे. इफ यू थिंक आई हैव अ डिजायर टू हैव अ सेकंड वाइफ, देन आस्क इट व्हाई. Is your first wife is not good enough, maybe emotionally, sexually, or basically sexually or whatever? If yes, तो फिर उसके और भी ऑप्शन हैं, आप डिवोर्स लेके सेकंड मैरी कर सकते हो. बट अगेन फ्रेमवर्क में हमारे यहाँ डिवोर्स देना आसान है, बट देयर आर स्टिल मेनी पीपल हु डोंट लाइक टू या बिलीव टू मैरी अ डिवोर्सी पर्सन. आइदर वे, अ गर्ल इज नॉट विलिंग टू मैरी अ डिवोर्स्ड मैन ऑन अ लार्जर स्पेस. एक दो या फिर कुछ परसेंटेज लोग हैं जो इसमें ओपन माइंडेड या एक्सेप्टेबल हैं, बट सब लोग नहीं करते. तो एग्जिस्टिंग फ्रेमवर्क को आप ब्रेक करोगे और उसके आसपास के इकोसिस्टम को आपने डेवलप नहीं करा है. मैरिज के बाद अगेन अगर आप डिवोर्स करते हो, भले ही आपने पॉलीगैमी के लिए डिवोर्स दिया, देन कम्स अंडर द अदर इफेक्ट सोसाइटल नॉर्म्स, एलिमनी, लीगल एस्पेक्ट्स, फिर आप उसके लिए भी इकोसिस्टम नहीं है. अब बोल सकते हो कि यार ठीक है, किसी ने मिसयूज किया पावर के लॉ का, आप मुझे डिवोर्स दो, मुझे पैसे दो, मैं दूसरी शादी कर लूंगी, और लड़की या लड़के ने बोल दिया, खामखा ही बोल दिया कि शी इज नॉट गुड इन बेड और ही इज नॉट गुड इन बेड, तो आप उसको डिसाइड तो करने जाओगे नहीं. देन कम्स द थर्ड एस्पेक्ट और इकोसिस्टम, जहाँ पे एक सोशल स्टिग्मा लग जाता है फैमिलीज में, irrespective कि कपल आर दे आर नॉट हैप्पी विद among themselves, बट फिर भी वो खुल के बोलते नहीं क्योंकि बाहर के लोग क्या कहेंगे. तो बेसिकली जस्ट चेंजिंग द कोर स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ सोसाइटी विदाउट हैविंग एनी अदर इकोसिस्टम लीड्स टू अ डिजास्टर. आप काफी सारे ऐसे लोग देखेंगे जो सिंगल मॉम या सिंगल पेरेंट या सिंगल डैड बन के अभी अपने चाइल्ड को रेज कर रहे हैं. इट्स गुड, लोग उसको भी एक तरह से बोल देते हैं कि हाँ इट्स अ वेरी कूल, ही और शी इज सेल्फ डिपेंडेंट सेल्फ मेड मैन. बट आप कहीं ना कहीं अंडरस्टैंड करो, एक चाइल्ड के ग्रोथ के लिए फ्रॉम द चाइल्डहुड इनिशियल फर्स्ट 10 years or 15 years, he or she needs both parents, as a mom as a father, irrespective of कि कौन कितना well to do है financially या emotionally, but a child needs both for a proper mental growth of him. आप उस तरह से अगर इंडिया में सारे लोग शादियां तोड़ने लगे और बोले क्या नहीं मैं सेटिस्फाई नहीं हूँ, मैं सेटिस्फाई नहीं हूँ, तो इंडिया में फिर यही हो जाएगा कि सारे लोग सिंगल पेरेंट्स बन के ही घूम रहे हैं. तो जो नेक्स्ट जनरेशन होगी उनके थॉट प्रोसेस होंगे कि यार मॉम डैड फैमिली जो कॉन्सेप्ट है वही खत्म होगा, एनीवेज वी आर मूविंग फ्रॉम ज्वाइंट फैमिलीज टू न्यूक्लियर स्ट्रक्चर, फिर तो वो भी टूट जाएगा. सो इवेंचुअली फिर शादी की जरूरत ही क्या है. इफ यू वांट टू हैव अ सेक्सुअल डिजायर, अगर आप एक वेल टू डू फैमिली पर्सन हो, तो आप फाइनेंशियली आप फ्लैट खरीद लो, आप मेड रख लो खाना बनाने के लिए, यू हैव अदर सर्विसेज जो भी है आप वहाँ पे यूज कर लो फॉर डिजायर्स. तो फिर इवेंचुअली
30
शादी करने
सेकेंड्स
की.
में, हाँ 30 सेकेंड्स में
Yes,
कंक्लूड कर लीजिए. हाँ.
sorry, Andan. So just to conclude, it needs to be discussed. ऐसा नहीं कि we want to make others agree or disagree. Any evil need to be discussed to make a social consensus जिसके against law बने. We should not be in hurry to break the current structure, current ecosystem, until unless we have something created for it on a better way. So we need to discuss, and we should discuss all the evil topics, and we should have an open mind and open heart to discuss and accept the points. That's all my point, Randalan. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Abhishek ji. M wanted to say something. We'll go to M. Then Diksha ji wanted to discuss something on the article which I have linked above. After that, we will go to Chef Ali ji, who has joined us recently. So M, over to you.
So if I can put views in both the different ways. One is जब भी हम polygamy discuss करते हैं, right? So I saw that very over here the polygamy discussed with one of the religion where I seen it's happening in many of the religion, and I'm not talking about India, I'm talking about outside the India as well, where in the Hindus, Bhutan side and everything, and they're happy. It's not like the women are being forced into or something, and they're happy and they enjoy. But when I am discussing about something as an individual choice, individual can have any choice, but when you are living in a society, you have to obey by society law, right? And if your country to function normally, say like any XYZ person who is saying that okay, we're supposed to have a legally polygamy rules, but if that person definitely is being given the chance to be migrated to US or any other country, they would like, and then those country doesn't support polygamy, they do not support second wife, and they are ready to accept that law. So we have to accept the one single law, that is also must. And I see difficulty because so far we were supporting so many different rules for the different religion wise. Tomorrow if I start my own religion and I can say I can have a 10 wife or 15 wife, how it will work out? So it's going to be a little difficult, challenging when you are implementing something new law in a country. So polygamy is a different thing, and having a country law is a different thing. Polygamy is very well accepted in many different cultures. Even in India, some of the TV show I understood that even girls are marrying to all the different brother, like how it happened in Mahabharata. That to preserve the land of to that family only, so the land doesn't get divided. So even that kind of a culture is also happening, right? So it's not with a religion.
Right. So M
That's
Sab,
my
the
view.
issue here is there are two aspects to it. One is there is empowerment of a partner to take action if her consent is not there. This power is currently available to one section of our society. A Hindu woman can stop her husband from marrying somebody else if she believes that her interest or her kids' interest are being jeopardized. She can intervene and stop that. But if that empowerment is not available, and this empowerment is available both to Hindu men as well as women, right? But if this empowerment is not available to, let's say, Muslim women in India, right? That 20 years after marriage, she has two kids, right? Three kids, whatever. And one fine morning, her husband decides to choose to marry somebody else. She doesn't even has power to intervene. That's where the issue is. If we give her that power, right? So, giving you an example of Succession Act. Today, under Hindu Succession Act, a girl has equal right of inheritance. So she has the legal option to inherit equivalent as her brother. Whether she chooses to exercise this right or not, it's her choice. But does she has a power to exercise this right? The answer to that is yes. ये भी और ऐसा होता भी है 10 में से 8 केसेस में आप देखोगे 6 केसेस में the girl would say, okay, let the inheritance of my father or grandfather go to my brother only, right? I don't want it, but if she wants it, she can have it. That's called empowerment. Whether you exercise that empowerment in 10 out of 10 cases is a choice available with the lady. So what we are talking about is having that empowerment to all the girls in this country, all the women in this country. That's about it. So we'll go to, yeah.
So I would say, yeah, empowerment we can view that way, but rather than women's empowerment, I see it's being strong as a having a one country, one law. So if you are living in under the one country, everybody who are living over here has to follow one law. That is more sounding better way rather than defending on a woman's point. But sorry, I'm not in India,
Oh,
so I'm
it's
not
the
sure.
same thing. You want to view it differently. So all women in this country should have equal empowerment. Simple as that. One country, one law. So let's go to Diksha ji. Diksha ji wanted to put up this article and discuss on this one. Diksha ji, over to you. 60
Okay.
seconds maybe, and then we'll go to Shefali ji and others who have not
Yeah,
spoken.
so we are forgetting one aspect, which is the STDs, that is sexually transmitted disease. So basically, I've given Andolanji the link. You can go through it. But I would also like to present a very authentic report, that is the Medical Research Council of UK, Rockefeller Foundation. So they basically studied whether polygamy did increase the chances of sexually transmitted disease or not. So Andolanji, I'll request 2 minutes because this is a report. So study found that women who were or had been married were more likely to have herpes than those who were single. Women whose husband had more than one wife or who had previously been married to someone else was 3 times as likely to have herpes as women whose husband had only ever been married just once. Third point was women who had a husband who was older when he was married for the first time were more at risk. Fourth was women whose husbands were thinking about remarrying in the next year were also likely to be infected. Now, report also warns. Now, these are the warnings. Even if programs aimed at changing sexual behavior are successful in encouraging abstinence, fidelity, and condom use in casual relationships, people will still be at risk of catching disease within marriage. Condom use within marriage will be difficult to promote in a society where there is little communication between men and women, greater sexual freedom for men, and a desire to have many children. Now you know where it is going, right? Third point is while behavior change could prevent a husband and his wife from becoming infected in the first place, once the marriage group is infected, polygamy is a very effective way of transmitting the disease. And the last warning is transmission within polygamous marriage could sustain the epidemic and lessen the effect of behavior change programs when compared to other societies. So polygamy not just increases the chance of STDs twice, but 3 times. And women are more susceptible to STDs. So I will also give this report to Andolanji. So after you have done with this report that is pinned above, you can go through this report of UK that I've sent. That's all.
Okay. Thank you,
So I
Diksha
would
ji.
like to add, Andolaji, I would like to add one thing over here.
Go
See,
ahead, Sunil ji.
दीक्षा जी आपने बहुत अच्छा आर्टिकल इसमें डाल दिया. That's very nice. I read it. And the other thing I want to know, I want to allude to the public here is that one of the important causes of CA cervix is human papilloma virus. And human papilloma virus is when it is when there's a polygamy, when there are, so that is polygamy is one of the important factors for giving women CA cervix, and it is spread by men actually, because the men who go to different women, then they bring those viruses and they give it to the women, and then women unfortunately suffer of CA cervix and they die of CA cervix. And CA cervix is a big health load in India at the moment, as we see. And where is it seen maximum? That's also to be seen. So I agree with Andolanji. What the topic what he has chosen is the most important topic, because it's a burden on the health. Its polygamy is a burden on our health and on our economy, and at the same time, it is not right to treat somebody inhumanly. I agree with this. Thank you.
Thank you.
But at the same time,
So,
Andolaji, if you look at the other thing I wanted to tell you is that there is some in Netflix there are some movies, and on that movies there is one movie called about Libya and about Iraq, where they are using small girls. Big guys are using small girls, and they are not allowed. Prostitution as such as legally is not allowed in those countries, but they are allowed to have nikah, where the meher is decided by the men over there, the pimps.
चलिए सुनील जी, वो दूसरे कंट्रीज की बात है. हम लोग वी आर सेंटरिंग
हाँ
मोर
हाँ,
अराउंड
मैं वो
द
मैं बता
इंडियन
रहा हूँ कि
कॉन्टेक्स्ट एंड द
वो
इंडियन लॉ. या
500 दिरहम या कुछ में वो डिसाइड हो जाता है, और वो
पर इस
चल रहा है
तरीके
बस.
के कुछ केसेस हम लोगों ने हैदराबाद में भी देखे हैं. बट
हाँ
देन
हाँ, एग्जैक्टली
नॉनदलेस,
एग्जैक्टली एग्जैक्टली एग्जैक्टली.
let's go to Shefali ji. FX, hold on please. Yeah. Okay, Shefali ji, I was just reading your bio. You are also a clinical psychologist.
Yes.
Okay, so welcome on panel, and would you like to share something?
Yeah, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I mainly came up to actually appreciate you, Andolanji, for most importantly, that I just randomly happened to come into this room, and it's very rarely that मैं इतने देर तक किसी topic पर सुनूं या इतने देर तक रहूं. But I really appreciate, first of all, you as a moderator, the way you handled this topic and the way you gave the chance to everybody with all due respect, very well managing the other religious aspect, historical and geographical. So I really want to thank you for holding this room and in such a nice manner. So that was my purpose of coming up, to really thank you.
Would you like to share something on the topic, Shefali ma'am? Thanks for the appreciation.
Regarding the topic, of course, as we see, the polygamy is a source of all social evil. Definitely, yes, because when we're talking about society, the family is a unit of society. And when we are forming laws, it is not based on some individual interest and it is based on the society's interest. So, when we are entering into a marriage, like somebody was mentioning that men's sexual desire are higher, or at an individual level there can be many aspects, but when it is about marriage there are financial needs, emotional needs, psychological needs, and sexual needs as well. So all of them are to be catered for both the individuals. It's both of it's a institution that we set up to somewhat manage the basic needs. And when the individual is at its best, only then the future generation, like we said, children are at their best. So when we see people coming here, when we talk about from a psychological perspective, किसी भी घर में कुछ होता है तो हम फैमिली को कंसिडर करते हैं, उनके चाइल्डहुड को कंसिडर करते हैं, एंड एवरीवेयर देर इज समथिंग हैपनिंग इन द फैमिली इन एनी वे, इट अफेक्ट्स द चिल्ड्रन फर्स्ट. And that's how we are forming the future. As an individual we are forming the future children. It's our fundamental responsibility to form people who are healthy in every way. तो जब हम रूल बना रहे हैं तो वो फैमिली के लिए बना रहे हैं, फ्यूचर जनरेशन के लिए बना रहे हैं. और अगर किसी का इंडिविजुअल नीड्स है जो पूरा नहीं हो रहा, जैसे कि कोई मेंशन कर रहा था, अगर ये नैरेटिव है कि सेक्सुअल डिजायर्स ज़्यादा होती है, सो देर आर पीपल हु गिव दिस म्यूचुअल कंसेंट कि यू कैन गो एंड get engaged sexually outside the marriage, but that is coming with the mutual consent like in open marriage, and it is not causing any harm to the wife in any way, like she's not feeling she's being deprived of her rights. So definitely the law needs to be formed where one's individual needs are well taken care of largely, so that we can function at our optimal best and we can go beyond survival for a better nation and the world. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Shefali ji. Dan, you have joined in, or if anybody has still not spoken, I'll be closing this room in about 10 minutes. Let's take the final comments as well as comments from people who have not spoken as yet. Dan, over to
Yeah,
you if you want to speak.
yeah, I will definitely agree with what Chef Ali has said. Like, that's what I came to say over here. Now, I don't have anything else to say. Sure.
Thanks. Anybody else would like to make closing remarks? Can flash their mics.
हाँ आंदोलन जी, एक बस वही कि सॉल्यूशन पे कभी बात इसी में वैसे डिस्कशन में हुआ होगा. आई थिंक मैं बीच बीच में था नहीं. व्हाट इज द सॉल्यूशन? ब्रीफ कर दीजिए.
सर, ये सोल्यूशन तो देखिए हम लोग इम्प्लीमेंट करते हुए आ रहे हैं पिछले 70 साल से. वी हैव कॉन्स्टेंटली, बट द प्रॉब्लम विद द सोल्यूशन इज दैट सोल्यूशन हैज ओनली बीन प्रोवाइडेड टू a partial population of the Indian society, whether it is abolition of polygamy, whether it is rights of women in inheritance, whether it is right of women when it comes to post divorce maintenance and share in property of her husband. I think we have clear case studies available in front of us, what has worked, what has not. What we just need to do is replicate the success stories across the entire population of our society. And let us not shy away from extending what has worked for our society to everybody in the society. Just because somebody says that, in our religion, we won't grant this to women of our religion, I mean, let there not be takedars who would take away rights of the women under the garb of, race, religion, geography, community, tribe, whatever. तो अपने पास मतलब we don't have to invent anything new. We just have to replicate what has worked for us across every woman in this society. If
विवेक जी,
हाँ प्रवीण जी,
आप अभी एक मेंटेनेंस के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से, लीगल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से एक बात कह रहे थे। दूसरा किसी एक भाई ने बच्चे के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से भी कहा था। सो थोड़ा-सा मैं इसके बारे में बोलना चाहता हूँ कि जो मेंटेनेंस का थॉट प्रोसेस है ना, ये पुराना थॉट प्रोसेस है, ये मॉडर्न सोसाइटी के अकॉर्डिंग नहीं है। इवन अगर आज देखा जाए तो लिटरेसी रेट तो बढ़ गया है वुमेन्स में, लेकिन जो जॉब करने का रेट है, मतलब जो पहले औरतें बाहर निकल के जॉब करती थी, इवन खेतियों में जाके करते थे या डिफरेंट सेक्शंस में करते थे, वो आज कम हो गया है। फ्रीडम के आसपास 1930 के आसपास जो था, वर्किंग रेट जो था वुमेन्स का था, वो था
वुमेन
40%।
पार्टिसिपेशन इन इकोनॉमी की आप बात कर रहे हैं।
राइट, वो 40% करीब
हाँ
था, आज वो 19% करीब घट चुका है।
हाँ, बट
मतलब
दैट इज
जो
ओनली फॉर अर्बन एरियाज व्हाट यू टॉकिंग प्रवीण जी। रूरल सेक्टर में एटलीस्ट आई वाज लुकिंग एट इंटरनेशनल लेबर डेटा, rural areas में women participation in economy is largely consistent, at least in the last 2 decades. In urban areas, it has somehow problematically come down. We
राइट,
should have ideally have increased, but it has come down.
राइट,
But that's a different topic and different discussion altogether.
राइट। तो नहीं, उसमें एक ये है ना कि जब एक आदमी बाहर निकलता है काम करने के लिए, तो उसके पास वो समय नहीं रहता जो बच्चों के साथ या अपनी फैमिली के साथ मतलब वो गुजार सके। तो बच्चा जो है वहाँ पे कहीं न कहीं सिर्फ़ मदर से अटैच हो पाता है, और वो इसी कारण से जो जो फीलिंग्स हैं, जो हमारी सोसाइटी की थॉट प्रोसेस है कि बच्चे की ज़िम्मेदारी सिर्फ़ माँ की है या बच्चा जो है पिता के नज़दीक नहीं होता, वो एक गलत नैरेटिव है या गलत थॉट प्रोसेस है। क्योंकि जो वो भाई जो उठा रहे थे, वो इसी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से उठा रहे थे, क्योंकि इस कारण से बच्चा जो है आज की सोसाइटी, क्योंकि न्यूक्लियर सोसाइटी, पहले तो एक जॉइंट सोसाइटी थी या जॉइंट फैमिलीज़ थी। तो वो बच्चा जो है कहीं न कहीं फादर के जगह अपने मामा, चाचा किसी न किसी से मिल लेता था। आज के समय में सिर्फ़ हस्बैंड और वाइफ़ होते हैं, और उसमें भी अगर सिंगल पैरेंट की सोसाइटी चली जाएगी तो दैट विल बी डिज़ास्ट्रस फॉर अस। और एज़ पर द पॉइंट ऑफ पॉलीगैमी, पॉलीगैमी में एक किसी ने और भी बोला था, इंडियन सोसाइटी में कभी पॉलीगैमी जेंडर न्यूट्रल रही है हमेशा। जो महाभारत से रिलेट कर दी जाए या हिमाचल में देख ली जाए, और वो हिमाचल का जो एक सेक्शन है वो आज भी तिब्बत में एग्जिस्ट करता है, और जिनके यहाँ मल्टीपल शादियां होती है। मतलब एक एक वाइफ है, मल्टीपल ब्रदर्स के साथ शादी होती है। एंड इन लाओस, लाओस में इन एक ओपन सोसाइटी की तरह वहाँ पे वुमेन को ऑप्शंस होता है, वो अपनी मदर के घर पे रहती है, और उसकी शादी होती है तो वो हस्बैंड को, मल्टीपल हस्बैंड उसके जो हैं वो होते हैं। तो देयर आर सम वेरी डिफरेंट सेक्शंस इन आवर साउथ इंडियन सोसाइटी, जो कि अरेबिक से मैच नहीं खाते हैं। और थर्ड पॉइंट में यहाँ पे ये कहना चाहूंगा कि जो अरेबिक थॉट प्रोसेस में एग्जिस्ट नहीं कर रही है, जिस जिस वुमेन की सेक्सुअल डिजायर अगर उसके हस्बैंड से ज्यादा है तो उसके लिए क्या किया जाएगा। तो ये जो चीजें हैं, ये जो मतलब हम कहते हैं ना, रिफॉर्म नहीं लेके आ रहा है इस्लाम का जो थॉट प्रोसेस है पॉलीगैमी की पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से, वो एक नैरेटिव ही गलत क्रिएट कर दिया गया है कि वो मतलब उस सोसाइटी या उस मॉडर्न वो 1400 साल पुराने थॉट प्रोसेस के अकॉर्डिंग।
जी, anybody else with the closing remarks? Diksha ji, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I would like to tell Praveen ji as well. I was not listening to his points, but Abhi wish I did. And she gave an example of an incident where she had a neighbor and she was living separately. So Praveen ji, अगर आप statistics देखोगे ना, तो polygamy marriage में it becomes very hard to live under one roof, that too peacefully. So अगर अगर आप बच्चों की बात कर रहे हो तो I don't think so toxic and loud environment is good, that too for 10 kids. Secondly, if there is polygamy that's happening and if it's toxic even in the society that is not uh, belonging to a particular community, then there should be a ban put on it. And as Andolanji said, when something is made uh, uh, criminal offense, then the percentage of that offense decreases. So here in our discussion, we want to say that first you have to accept that yes, this is a social evil, and only when the acceptance comes from the society will the lawmakers be able to make a law on it, and that's the only purpose of this room. That's all.
Acha, with that notion, Shefali ji, you wanted
Yeah,
to say something?
that's last thing. I this is my personal experience that I want to share कि अगर कोई भी social practices हैं या evil practices हैं, अगर वो उसके उसको एक religion की चादर उड़ा देते हैं तो बोलना मुश्किल हो जाता है. और ये मेरे साथ इंडिविजुअल लेवल पे ऐसे बहुत बार हो चुका है. जब वो चीज़ रिलीजन की एड में बोलते हैं तो ऐसा लगता है कि ये एक लाइन है, एक बाउंड्री है, इसके आगे हम नहीं बोल सकते. ऐसा मुझे बहुत बार फील हुआ है कि मेरा पर्सनल कंफ्यूजन रहता था कि बोलना है या नहीं बोलना, क्या ये मेरा मैटर है या फिर ये रिलीजन का है. तो मैं ये कहूँगी इस रूम में आके मुझे ये पता होता है हमको कि कुछ गलत हो रहा है, लेकिन हम बोल नहीं पाते क्योंकि वो रिलीजन जहाँ पर आ जाता है. तो ये जो एक डर बैठ गया कि ह्यूमैनिटी अलग होके रिलीजन पहले आ जाता है, तो वो कहीं ना कहीं यहाँ पर बात सुन के एक आता है एक कि हम बोल सकते हैं और हमें बोलना चाहिए. ये मुझे आया है, तो आई वुड से प्लीज होल्ड सच रूम्स मोर ऑफन सो दैट anybody going through it or seeing it has the courage to speak for their own, stand for themselves and bring about that reform. So thank you again.
Sorry. With that note, I would now bring the room to a closure. Thanks to all the speakers who are on the panel and participated in the panel, irrespective of whether they were speaking for or against the topic. Thanks to all the listeners, to stay with us for so long. The room ran for almost close to 3 hours now. Replays are available if anybody wants to go and revisit the discussion in the room subsequently. Under the club room detailed discussion, the replays of this room would be available. Thank you, everyone. With that note, on the
Thank you.
count
Thank
of
you,
three,
Andolan. Thank you.
I'll be shutting this room. 5, 4, 3, 2. Thank you.
This video was made possible by Creative Contents.